Good evening, listeners, one and all. Welcome to the grand final of the Valor Cup, the first Oceanic Valorant tournament presented by Amateur Oceanic Esports. I'm Peronius. Joining me tonight, as always, is Temporal. And this is it. We've gone the full distance, and now we're going to see which of these teams is the number one in this tournament.
That's right, we're finally here, the best two teams in the land, going head to head to decide who will climb the peak of Valorant greatness and be crowned AOE Valor Cup champions. The two teams we have left in the competition have been the two that have statistically performed the best over the course of the competition, and of course, being in the final, they are the two best teams we have, the Weekend Warriors and Enderpearl. They've been put through their paces, Peronius, and now they only face one more obstacle on their road to becoming Valor Cup champions.
That's right. If you're just joining us, the Valor Cup has been a 6-week long tournament with a $200 cash prize pool on offer for competitors. In stage one, we had 64 teams going through a Swiss bracket where they did 2 matches per week, 2 matches per night, in fact, for 3 weeks. And from that, the top 7 teams went through to a final stage. And, well, this is it. We've made it all the way through those finals. This is the big one.
Indeed, and it was a tough competition for all the teams involved. These finals we've been through have been a single elimination final. So during the regular season, you get those guaranteed 6 matches. But once you hit playoffs, that's it. No more second chances. You lose, you're out. And the teams we've got remaining have proven that they are the best so far. And this week, we will be seeing 3 maps contested by 2 teams, which will lead to one winner who will be taking home the lion's share of the $200 prize pool provided by My Republic Gamer.
That's right. Stay home with the #1 broadband provider for gaming. My Republic Gamer offers fixed broadband plans and services that provide ultra-stable, ultra-low latency connections, optimizing your gameplay experience. My Republic Gamer customers can enjoy exciting privileges, special gaming offers, and exclusive access to specialized gamer perks. Make sure you check out My Republic today.
Yeah, you should definitely do that, but hold off till we get a bit of a break in the action. Maybe between maps is a good point, because there's plenty of Valorant action to be coming up, and you won't want to miss a whit of it. But if you did miss the previous, I guess it's 5 weeks of the season we have, or if maybe you just forgotten a bit, we're happy to remind you of what happened. Let's look at the entire playoffs, because coming into it, the Weekend Warriors were the top seed coming into playoffs, Peronius, which means they got a week off in the quarterfinals, so Enderpearl have had to play an extra match, and that first match was a close one between them and Ariete Esports, but they got through that in a 2-0. The week after, though, we broadcast that match last week, and it was a nail-biter.
Absolutely. They went up against Forbidden Gaming, and things were looking like really decisive. Like, we had a map 1 on Haven that just overwhelmingly went Enderpearl's way. Then we went to Bind, and that showed to be a bit of a weakness for them, as it was just as one-sided the other way. Finally, we had a close third map on Ascent where Enderpearl were able to clutch up the victory and take it through. But when you're having that much of a trouble in the semi-finals, going up against the undefeated team that's already beat you, you got to hope that they've been practicing, because Weekend Warriors are going to be out for blood.
Indeed, and I'm glad you made that reference to the teams having played before. It didn't happen on broadcast, unfortunately, but in the final round of the group stage, we had 2 undefeated teams left in the competition. It was these 2 teams, and they went head-to-head on Haven. Weekend Warriors walked away 13-6 winners of that, so they look like a very dominant team, even over the second-seeded team in the tournament. And they showed off how good they were in their semi-final last week. We didn't get to broadcast it, but from the results, they won 2-0 over Advantage ESC. And it was, while it was fairly close maps, 13-9, 13-10 on Bind and Haven respectively, they still got away without dropping a single map in the finals and across the entire tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. They put on a pretty solid performance. They definitely showed some weaknesses against their opponent there, but in the end, they were in control of the map, and it's interesting to see how that's going to play out tonight. We've seen from the Weekend Warriors, they do like the map Bind. That has been their pick a lot of the time. As the top seed, they will get the first pick of maps. So we are sort of expecting them to be taking Enderpearl through to Bind. And Enderpearl, they did not have a good time on Bind last week. So that may be a bit of a weakness for them as well. So it's not a good position for Enderpearl to be in. But at the same time, you got to hope that they've been practicing that. Like, I don't know if they know enough from Weekend Warriors to know that Bind is their chosen map or not. I don't know if they've been able to find the research to do that. But you got to hope that they've been practicing up that weakness to try and take advantage of that one.
Indeed, though, the Enderpearl have one advantage coming into this match over Weekend Warriors in that they've had the same lineup for most, if not all, of the season. They haven't actually changed their lineup at all. There's been no subs, there's been no mid-season roster swaps, so this team has been together for at least a month and a half, playing together, getting used to each other's the way each other plays, and I guess that sets them up not only for trusting each other to deliver, it also means they've got their comms down. It can help eliminate confusion.
Yeah, definitely. It was some of the things. We actually found a VOD of the semi-final match last week, and the comms were one of the potential weaknesses from the Weekend Warriors. As you said, bringing in some of those newer players, the system's not fully in place there, and it did lead to some opportunities there for their opponent to sort of capitalize on the comms chaos. We'll see if Enderpearl can take advantage of that as well tonight. But yeah, we'll have to see how that unfolds.
So speaking of
Absolutely.
rosters, we should introduce them. For the side of Enderpearl, that same lineup is their Azuliate, Fate, Ilu, Struct, and Jars. While for Weekend Warriors, it is Omai, Minimize, and Funk. Names you'll recognize, but their new members in their team are Air and Devour. And I trust, given they were able to play with those players and they won last week, that they've got those members integrated well, but we'll find out if it's well enough to get one over on Enderpearl, or if maybe this will be the end of that golden run from the Weekend Warriors.
Absolutely. I'm very much excited to see how this one unfolds because, as I was saying before, we're expecting that map one goes to Bind. We expect that that's going to happen because Weekend Warriors definitely have favored that one. However, at the same time, that means Enderpearl have the map pick for second map, and they look really good on Ascent. And Weekend Warriors freely admit Ascent is actually a bit of a weakness for them. So we could be seeing this go to map 3 just by virtue of the teams they're being able to pick a favored map that is their opponent's weakness on those first two maps.
Hell, if it's a close match, we can get to the end of the third map. We've had 3 13-12s in a row. I wouldn't mind if we would play at the fourth map just to see how it would have gone. You know, we get to end of 4 maps, it's 2-2. Well, why not play the 5th map? No, I don't think the tournament admins would appreciate us changing the rules on the fly for the grand final, given this is the money match. Half of that $200 prize pool is going the way of the winning team. That's $20 per player, and there's nothing to sniff at. Getting that prize money and being crowned the best team in Oceania right now.
Absolutely, it's going to be an exciting match. Definitely, we're just waiting for the lobby to be finalized now, and then we'll be able to jump into the game. And I suppose talk us through what we've seen from the lineups here. What are we expecting just from what we've seen so far? What are we expecting these players to pull out on? It looks like we probably are going to Bind for our first map. So what can we expect there?
Bind was an interesting one. So Legion has been playing very consistently with their lineup across most of the tournament, especially in the matches we've seen them play. However, for Bind, they did bring out something different. So their standard setup is the typical Sage, Cypher, Jet, and I'll start again. They usually run with a Sage, Sova, Omen, Jet, and Cypher. For Bind, they switched over Struct from the Omen to the Brim, and now Struct has been doing a fantastic job on that Omen, getting into tricky places, causing havoc for the other team. The change to the Brim, it's a good change, especially on Bind, when, particularly if you're assaulting point A, smokes give you so much cover that you can typically see teams go up the A short side, chuck the smokes down, and get the spike planted at that front corner. It didn't work out for them. Whether or not that was just a fact of Forbidden Gaming being really, really good on bind, or maybe Struck's not so comfortable on that Brimstone, preferring the Omen and feeling more confident and able to contribute more to the team. I think we need more data to confirm that, but I'd be very worried if I was them going into, given the fact that Bind is the first map, that they may see a repeat of last week, and that's not the way you want to start out a grand final. Getting yourself absolutely caned on the first map.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely puts you into a bit of a rough position, having to be playing back against that, trying to take it back there. At the same time, if they are able to pick up Bind here, that's going to put them into a great position going forwards, because if they're able to pick up the first map, even if map 2 doesn't work out for them, it means that they'll be able to go through on map 3 to their preferred map there. So you definitely want to pick up the first map. It just gives you so much momentum, so much control over the rest of the series. It really is a huge advantage. It's really hard to play back against that from match point, because at best you're winning the map that you wanted to pick and then going up against your opponent's map choice in the final map. So huge advantage to winning that first map, go figure, but definitely not something to underestimate there.
Definitely not. And looking at the Weekend Warriors lineup, for the players we have seen multiple times, Oh My, Minimize, and Funk, we typically see Minimize and Funk playing the same characters. Minimize on the Sage, Funk on the Cypher. They're both really solid on those roles, so I'm not worried about them. I'm also not worried about the way Oh My plays, though. They have displayed a little bit of variation. Often we'll see him on the Omen, but sometimes picks up the Brimstone when the composition calls for it. Air and Devour, we've only got that VOD from the semi-final. We saw Devour sticking with the Phoenix the whole time. Air, though, was able to flex across onto the Brimstone or the Sova where required. So they've got a little bit of flexibility in the team. It'd be interesting to see tonight whether or not they choose to bring it out, or they try and run the same 5 agents the whole way through the final series.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing that we're going to be watching there is Devour, because as the Phoenix, that is going to be the team's main initiator. Both of these teams have favored a very defensive sort of lineup, only have the one initiator player, and that has been, in most situations, the Phoenix as well, who is very good at that role. But that is a lot of pressure you're putting onto the shoulders of one person to make those entries onto sites. When you do have the Omen there, you do have a bit of a secondary initiation tool there. And it looks like both of these teams will be rolling out with an Omen here on Bind. So they've got those secondary tools, but still a lot of pressure on both Azuliet and Devour, whose in-game name is Tyler Blevin-Thick here, as the Phoenixes of these respective teams.
And on the subject of different names to what you'll hear, Air is the player with the Korean characters in the name, so I can't pronounce the name that is in game. So, but Air is their name. You see us talking about someone named Air and don't see him in the lobby, that's fine. Unless they've changed their tune. No. Well, it will be Weekend Warriors starting out on the attack here.
Yeah, I'm interested in the Enderpearl defense and not running the sucker here. Interesting to see how that unfolds there. Already we've got a big push coming straight up through B short there.
Oh no. 3 players already copping the brunt of that. Minimize, trying to go backwards through the teleport. I'm quite sure on this strat here.
Oof.
Actually, no, I do know what this strat is. This is waiting for a defender to come through. Smart play. It's going to see Weekend Warriors take a lot of map control very early. All the time in the world with which to work.
Yeah, it looks like they're rotating back to A here now. The Rays of Jars under a lot of pressure, but all that is so short range, doesn't manage to get it through the smoke. Bomb is going to be planted here. Spike is down, but some damage has been done. Not a lot of utility left available here, though, for the defense on the retake. It is a 4v2, not enviable position.
No.
Ooh, Ilu.
Play for Ilu. Tyler will devour. We'll be finishing that one, Jars. Quick counter, but a 1v3. You've got to defuse. Means the Weekend Warriors know exactly where this
and here's the...
from. Oh.
Fired that so long ago. Fired that so high into the sky. By the time it hits the ground, it just means that there's going to be no time to wait for that to go out. So, Omai is showing the really good molly placements already. It goes to show you really need to take out that brimstone before you can safely defuse, or it is going to be really nasty. And, I mean, in addition to the brimstone, you have to worry about the Phoenix as well. Both of them having those area denial ones that can really get in the way of the defuse.
They can indeed, though. I think from a Phoenix, you'll typically see them use it maybe a bit earlier in the round, either for a self-heal or just to get in a position where they can start dueling it out, which is what Phoenix so wants to do. And again, we're seeing lots of aggression from both the Phoenix and the Omen coming out from Weekend Warriors.
Yeah, a lot of aggression coming out from Enderpearl as well, who's actually buying into this round. A lot of teams, when they lose that first round, they don't go heavy into the second round, try and save for round 3 instead, but they've picked up a lot of shotguns, looking to really surprise people here in Hookah, and they might just be able to pull it off as Minimize and Omai move towards it now.
That's a nice flashbang. Struct. Ready and waiting for that flame wall to dissipate. Not going to be finding anyone just yet, but he gets unlucky. He's walking through a face full of buckshot. Tyler, to the point. There goes Struct, so not getting any value from that shotgun. Azulia responds with the judge.
Careful now.
Fate going down. A little harder for the defense. That's a nice molly onto the point. That's not going to stop the spike being planted. 4v3 favouring the Weekend Warriors.
I really like the way that Enderpearl played this one. Sorry, I really like the way Weekend Warriors played this one, rather, where they decided just not to go into Hookah at all. They basically predicted that there might be shotguns. You do see a lot of shorties in round 2. Not unreasonable to predict that. And yeah, that will be just an easy clean-up there by Devour and Air. Yeah, they absolutely predicted that there would be shotguns in Hookah, decided not to go in there, not to risk it, and there were 3 players stacked up in there, so really nicely disarmed that nasty trap.
Shows you how much they've played the game. They've seen all the common strats and they've worked out a way around them. It's put Enderpearl in a marginally precarious position now. They invested a little bit into that last round, didn't get any value for it. They didn't even... I think they only got 1 elimination there, Pyronius, so not really expecting any hurt from the attackers.
Yeah, it means that they're going to go for a bonus round here, although Ilu getting a good pickup there, and Azulia carrying through as well. It's a 2-for-2 trade now, so basically what's happened is Weekend Warriors, because the enemy invested into that round 2, they've gone for a bonus round. They haven't upgraded their guns.
One down.
And this is allowing the members of Enderpearl back in the game here. Ilu picking up a 3rd.
We saw this last week. Ilu with the Sheriff is the most deadly agent you can think of in the server. Right now, I would not want to be Weekend Warriors going in with a numbers disadvantage.
Silence.
They lose Fate, but still a 2v2. I'm going to favour the Jet.
Yeah, and Ilu's got ult up as well, so could pull out the Blade Storm here to try and close this one out. Waiting for more information. Jar's going down to Air, though. That means that the A site should be open should they choose to go for it there. Instead, they are continuing to push towards this B slowly. No, and now that they've seen Ilu is still on B, there will be the rotate through. They'll get that plant down easily enough. Question is, can Ilu go for the retake? Pulls out the Blade Storm, is going to look to make the play here.
Get the spike down, runs away on 29 health, does not want to poke out. Away their life for free. Fun on the hunt. Oh, didn't actually fake it, went for it, but in the end, Air, through the trap, gonna take care of business.
Yeah, went for the stick there, probably trying to get like the half defuse before jumping off. Maybe hoping that it would take a little longer for the attackers to really aggress onto that. In the end, gets punished for it and taken out there pretty cleanly. But I mean, you're in a 1v2 situation. Someone was tagged up heavy, but even then, it's not an easy thing to do when all you've got is the Bladestorm and the Sheriff, especially when you're not 100% sure where they are. You knew one of them was up short, didn't necessarily know both were.
Played again by the Weekend Warriors. That wasn't as smart as their last round. Ilu finally picked up their favorite op.
Prepare for hellfire!
There's a lot of intel tonight. Strike clearing a little bit of room outside Lambs, but really, Weekend Warriors didn't follow up on it, so...
Joke's over! You're dead!
Yeah, trying to flush people out of U-Haul there, maybe create an opening, doesn't quite get the results they're looking for. Continues to be a 5-4 against, and now the pressure is on the attackers, who they need to get onto one of these sites, but they're already playing from a man disadvantage. I think they're just trying to get as much utility as they can out of the defense, but there's more smokes coming down from the attackers. They are slowly working through their resources. There's the tele play towards B now.
Oh, it's so good, but Fate was ready and waiting. Minimize dropped on B long with the spike. Fate's not going to be able to cover it any longer, but it has forced Oh My detour.
Joke's over! You're dead!
Run it back. Off the Devour. Direct value, but a 1-for-1 trade. We'll see Oh My taking the teleporter back to A. I think this is the first round I've seen Poronius where the teleporter's used twice by the attacking team.
Yeah, they've gone for the play here. You will be able to just barely get that spike down, but trying to hold that a 1v4 against the retake wasn't going to happen. Still, getting the spike down does mean a little bit of extra cash for the attackers. We've got a lot of early momentum here. That said, I mean, Weekend Warriors, they've still got plenty of money, especially Air, who is sitting on maximum cash right now. So it's going to take a bit more than one round to bankrupt them from Enderpearl. But the double op defense now coming out means that things are going to definitely get a lot harder from the attackers from here.
We saw the power of it in that last round. Ilu over on A, Fate, sorry, over on B, able to get kills early on the attacker's attempted entry, made life so difficult for them. See if they're a little more wary this time, knowing that those two players still going to be alive, still
really aggressive defense there from Enderpearl, and Ilu, I mean, no one expects an op to be that far forward on the A defense, so absolutely catches the Weekend Warriors off guard. They've committed towards B pretty heavily, but they're having to send someone back to get the spike.
I have the spike.
They get struck for their efforts. Omen a little far forward for comfort. Backline slowed, has to get away. Currently on half health, so it's very great. Maybe able to take out. There you go, minimize. Smoke comes down to cover the body. Warriors on side. The spike and minimize the side. The great. I think the maximum protection. Oh no! Oh, Ilu! Picks up that 3k. Jars goes down. Just the jet left. 1v1 duel. Purple place away yet again. Oh no! Right click misses! And the left click too. Tyler bringing up the third to seal the deal, but that was so close.
Yeah, Devour clutching out that round. It really looked like Ilu might just have it, managing to sneak through to elbow. No one expected that rotation. No one expected the jet to be there. Takes out so many people from that position. In the end, whiffs two opportunities to take down the last member of the Weekend Warriors. And in the end, they take that round back. That's got to be tilting there for Ilu.
Well, both of those ops, no one able to repurchase, so full round of rifles for the defense.
Ilu still does have the op, as Devour finds out. The revenge has been sated.
You will not kill my ally!
Minimize will be there with the res.
Air will be breathing a sigh of relief knowing that Ilu is not on A, gets the site free reign. You have to be careful and watch.
The hunt begins!
Zulia is poking around near spawn. Jars, there you go, the
Fire
judge.
in the hole!
Twice in a round. Tries Showstopper follows up onto Minimized. That's what you get for Resin the Phoenix. Jar's going to take care of both of those players.
Oh,
All of Fennel up here, waiting. With the neural theft in hand. Highlight where the defenders are, they know that there's no one on A. It's going to give them plenty of opportunity to plant.
Careful now.
Cypher lurking here in that aggressive positioning. Might catch Struck off guard, but the tripwire there lets him know, and yeah, sure enough, the cage up as well. Struck knows Cypher somewhere around there. Oh, this is nasty though.
Oh, it's going hunting. It's a Omen v Omen. I think the defender spawn Struck wins that out. Takes a fair bit of damage for the efforts, but Illy now coming in.
Blocking sight.
Plenty of cover, going for the defuse.
Oh!
Air walks back to the smoke. The defuse happening. Oh my though is there for backup. That's gonna see Weekend Warriors extend their lead out to 4 rounds.
Yeah, Omar's having a great game so far. 8-4 is their scoreline. Top fragger on the team. Ilu, the top fragger in the server, though, putting in so much work there on the Enderpearl side. But unfortunately, the rest of the team sort of struggling to really make themselves known in this match so far. They're not having a terrible performance. They're just not having as good a performance as the rest of the members of Weekend Warriors. And you know, as a result, we see the scoreline 5-1 in favor of Weekend Warriors. But again, Bind is their preferred map here, so it's not too surprising they're doing well. Gonna have a bit of an eco around here for the defense. Ilu's on the Marshall. Everyone else is running, well, actually Azuliet's running a power pistol with that Sheriff. Everyone else is running the shorties, so it's just going to be some nasty corner ambushes. Unfortunately, the attack is not coming the right area to take advantage of a lot of those.
Struck may be the only one who gets lucky. He has a shorty. Let's see what they can do against 2.
Cover going out.
Oh, then they're going to know exactly where. Oh,
yeah.
no. They're going to know where he is. Paranoia. It's a nice effort, but just too close. So much. Hey, pops around the corner. Tyler taking care of business. That's 2 in a row for the Phoenix. Oh, so Devour, sorry, not Tyler. That says Tyler on screen. Enderpearl have a lot of work to do. 5v3 coming onto the site.
Yeah, I think maybe Ilu backs off here, just tries to pick up exit frags. The other 2 with their relatively cheap buys just tries to inflict some damage here.
Careful now.
Might be how it goes.
Alright, no one there is Juliet.
Yeah, I think they're just... oh no, there we have... yeah, Juliet goes for the play. It doesn't manage to get anything done though, and yeah, we will see Ilu and Jars back off here now, looking to preserve what little they can from the round. Jars has got that armor to preserve, and Ilu has the Marshall.
Oh, there you go. Weekend Warriors not silly enough to take the telly, perhaps suspecting there might be someone waiting. Just firing off all the ammunition they can. Warriors extend the lead yet again, and Maroni, as you mentioned before, that everyone on Weekend Warriors is doing equally well, and that's something I think we've seen consistently across the entire tournament. Whenever they've been on broadcast, they haven't had to have one player as a standout carry for the team. Every member has contributed to each match they play.
And that's a really good thing for your team's ult economy as well. If you're getting relatively even frags across the board, it means everyone's getting their ults up, everyone's able to use those, it means more tools to your disposal. Whereas when you've just got one person who's like consistently top fragging, a lot of the time half of their frags are not going to an ult, they've already got a lot.
Sorry, Jars having a little look at their weapon for minimize. I'm gonna say no, this is a serious match. Please get on with business. Repositioning from Struct into the backline. Not gonna find any value.
Oh, the timing on that.
Oh no, Ilu goes down. Minimize and traded out, as is Azuliet. Even trades on both sides of Omens. Good work. Struct gets the better of the duel, proving themselves the superior, mysterious person.
Blinding.
I won't assume that Omen is a man, even with the gravelly voice.
Prepare for
Oh,
hellfire.
there it is, trying to bait out the orbital strike. They knew the Brim was still alive. It is going to be enough time to potentially get the defuse there, but not a lot of time. They need to make the play. No, they're not going to have time.
What's another death?
Oh, struck. See what they had to.
Can't go there. No.
Oh, not even getting away with their life. That is really unfortunate. It's a great play by the Omen to clear off the point.
Yeah, I really like the discipline there from Omai because they didn't respond to the first tap. They waited those extra couple of seconds, and those extra couple of seconds made all the difference there. Orbital Strike comes down, denies the defuse. It's the second time we've seen it happen as well. It's just so much power this Brimstone has to deny the plants if they're not taken down.
Where to set up shop?
And we saw it in the pistol round. It was that incendiary after Omar.
Get out of my way!
Omar wasn't dead in the pistol round, but it was that incendiary fight in the air that lingered for so long and is what ultimately denied Strut.
Yeah, really great heads-up plays there by Omai, who's team captain for the Weekend Warriors, if not the in-game leader, and just really showing why with plays like that. But Devour, the new pickup, really fragging out hard in this matchup so far. It's what you want from your entry fragger, and it's absolutely what we're seeing from them.
Oh, dodging bullets like a pro. Not able to take out Omai. Minimize though, goes down, struck with the support.
Smoke's down.
Need to be finished off. Weekend Warriors a quick advantage as they march. Oh, Ilu in the corner, nails two with the blades. Funk finishing off the tip, but the damage is done.
Joke's over! You're dead!
Omai on half health.
Omai on half health and the run it back being used. It's going to give some information to Jars there.
Satchel out. Satchel out.
It's the wrong way, but in the end, able to get the drop on Omai, knowing exactly where the Brimstone is. Flame Wall used to be healing his Jars, sitting on top of the box, pops down.
Oh.
They haven't seen.
Oh no!
Pops around the corner, gets one, but Zuli 8. Thankfully, here's the gunfire, turns around, will nail the defuse this time, even has a chance to pick up a Vandal. What you cheeky booger.
Careful
Wow.
now.
Oh, this could be embarrassing if it doesn't work out.
No, he knows he's got plenty of time. And, he's going to make full use of that time. I mean, when the scoreline is this much against you, 7-2 now for Enderpearl, anything you can do to upset your opponent's mental, you absolutely take, because, I mean, they're not having a great half here on defense, and, I mean, Ilu's having a decent time. It's the rest of the team that are struggling. We'll see if that continues here. If they're able to pick up these next three, keep this momentum going through, they might have an opportunity here. They've definitely got an opening. If they're able to pick this one up, we're probably going to see an eco from Weekend Warriors. And Ilu picking up Minimize at the start of the round is a great start.
That's a big pick. No heal, no resurrection. Sort of leveling the table in a way, given that Enderpearl doesn't have a Sage of their own anyway. So losing Struct is not going to help.
Careful now.
That was such a big opportunity there. Struct almost able to get the two of them down as they did that double peak, but wasn't quite lined up with the crosshair placement exactly where he needed to when they stepped out. If he'd been just a little bit more to the right, he potentially could have got both of them really quickly there, and that would have sort of been the round.
Oh, Jars in an interesting position here. Oh my, may not suspect the Raze is hiding there. They could secure the spike.
Yeah, they're coming to check that corner.
Oh, smart play. Mate gets funked in the meantime.
Smoke's down.
Head around to A. There's Ilu hiding once again around a corner. Close range. Oh, boom! A couple of kills, including Ilu going down. Spike planted. Just Fate left. See what this arena can do coming up from A short.
A lot of pressure here on Fate. Doesn't have any utility left, or at least doesn't have any eyes left. Could still potentially win this.
Joke's over! You're dead!
They just ran run it back there. That's going to tell them exactly where the finish is. But
oh, the
nice
good! And unlocks the Empress. Suddenly Fate in with a chance. All they have to do is deal with Omai. Oh, but there you go. Omai. Oh, so good so far. Showing off once again why they are the best brimstone in the server. The only brimstone in the server, but let's not let that distract you.
Yeah, it was really close there, especially when we saw Fate use the molly there. Rather, we saw Fate bait out the molly there. Oh my, committing it onto Showers there, trying to trap the Rainer in there. I mean, it did force Rainer to move early, not get the full value of the healing that they could have gotten. But I mean, without having that tool available, it means that they have to actually keep control. Maybe an opportunity for Fate to bring that out, work out. And now, look at this, Valor picking up 2 before getting traded out by Jars.
Aggressive hold attempted by Enderpearl, not paying off either though. With the Sheriff as one, going to give away their position to Oh My, who's wasting absolutely no time, making their way onto A with the spike to be planted. Enderpearl once again down in numbers, approaching from multiple angles, and it looks like nothing they can do. Weekend Warriors have the site locked down, and so far, well, hasn't been able to penetrate.
Ay, corazón.
Yeah, Fate actually just playing with a ghost as well. That said, picks up Minimize there. It's a good start. Jars could potentially clutch this, but they haven't been able to go for the full buy here. It's been a bit of a half buy to make sure they've got money for last round. Now Jars, without vision there, stuck out in the open. 2 people there. It's only a matter of time. 9-2 the scoreline. We could be heading to a 10-2 half here. Hopefully this team's able to buy in for the final round, but looking really good here for Weekend Warriors. I mean, Bind is their home ground, and they're absolutely showing it.
In their previous matches, Legion has shown up a little stronger on their defense, so their attack can leave things to be desired. And yes, it puts a lot of pressure on them, but maybe if they feel much more, if they're feeling confident in their defense, they might still see this as doable. 9-3, of course, would be a lot more doable than 10-2, but I wouldn't quite count them out just yet.
Yeah, they pulled out 3 omens for this round, which I think says a lot about their current mental state. That said, Jars does have this surprise. Gunning down through the wallbang there.
You will not kill my allies!
Oh, I love it. Strikes waste full clip ammo, plenty more where that came from.
Yeah, they've got another couple of them there, and this is the point where the members of Weekend Warriors, like, they know that there are omens on the field. They know there are more than one omen on the field.
Gone.
Funk picking up
Joke's
Fate, though, that
over.
is
You're dead.
a nice opening there. Now they're going to be committing onto A, however.
Indeed.
Careful now.
Tyler running around. Hellfire! We're off now. Oh, strike is good. Takes out Azurier. Struct repositioning just to get in a position to help out on A. They know this hit is going down here. High ground picks up their option left there. Can this jet make a difference? Now it's a 2v5. Everything to play for Enderpearl. Being the last round is good.
Get out of my way!
Struct taps the
Funk on the
Gets the
sideline.
tap on the spike.
Yeah.
Gets the tap on the spike, forces the defenders, well, at least the attackers, who are now trying to defend against the retake to maneuver around. But in the end, the numbers just too far against the members of Enderpearl there. It will be a 10-2 half in favor of Weekend Warriors. As we go over to the defense here, there'll be so much pressure onto Enderpearl here and now to make this one happen, because, like, with this kind of half against you, it means you're going to have to do even better than them to bring back this map. And I mean, that's just not really, it's really rough a position to be in. I think it's pretty safe to say at this point, Bind is going to be going the way of the Weekend Warriors. The question is, how much can Enderpearl make them fight for it? Because everything they can pick up there is just going to be added benefit for the mental game here.
And they're just playing to frustrate their opponents for the moment. Well, we could see miracles come out. This pistol round is absolutely crucial. Going down here would be disastrous for them. Picking up 2 quick kills, only losing 1 in the meantime. Just going to see Struct getting the plant down. They've got plenty of coverage here on B.
Jar's winning the duel in the back against Devour as well. Should be the pistol round going in their favor. Just the one player left alive. Funk trying to make something happen here in Hookah. But Struck will be the one who ends up that one. So they'll pick up the pistol round. That's a good start for the half. They really did need to pick up that pistol round as well if they wanted to have any hope of playing for this one because of the momentum that winning pistol round gives you. Now they're able to buy into this one. They probably would have been... And if they hadn't won the pistol round, they probably would have had to force again anyways. But we'll see them buying into this one. Members of Weekend Warriors will just take the eco, look to even things up in round 3. But if they get an opportunity here, they'll absolutely take it as well.
I don't believe my eyes are seeing 2 Ares on the field. Not something you see every day, but they're bringing all the big guns out they can muster in a concerted effort through showers.
Careful now.
Oh, Devour knows exactly where they're coming from. The hot hands going out. They're going to keep one inside. There you go. You see the Ares plugging to the wall. Funk falling afoul of that. Plenty of cover. We'll see the spike planted. Azuliate peeking in lamps takes down Devour. Has the run up. No, it doesn't have to run it back or recharge. Sorry. Enderpearl making use of the tools they have. They've got a strong position right now.
Yeah, they do. They finally lose a player, but even with Ilu going down, still overwhelmingly in favor there. Omai, the last player alive, does manage to get a Spectre, tries to run with it. Fate's not having it, manages to gun them down in the back there. But, I mean, that was pretty much how you'd expect the round to go, given the investment. The danger here is that enough damage was done that it's really Enderpearl are sort of hesitant to invest heavily into this round. We're going to see Weekend Warriors come out with the full rifles and armor, and well, we've had a really mixed buy here from Enderpearl to meet it. We've got a Bulldog in the hands of Jars, areas still being held by Azuliat, a couple of Spectres, and Ilu's picked up an Odin, so they're really favoring these LMGs here, trying to make it happen, but Ilu getting Omai is a great opening.
What a start through the smoke, wasting no time getting in the action. They're going for the teleport, though. It's just a bait. A is the go. You're going to see some quick rotations coming through from the defenders, Pyronius. It looks like they might actually get there before the attackers.
Yeah, I think they're going for the double teleport, and sure enough, they are going for the double teleport, forcing the defenders to rotate again. When you know the defense has an Omen.
Oh, we're seeing Minimizer still waiting around there on B, but to no avail. Fate taking care of business. Struct goes down. You see the defenders trapped at the back. Tyler not content being trapped. Spotting out Azuliate, taking the Phoenix down. Funked. So Funk coming up from mid. Not gonna be any value. Ilu, the 3k with the Odin. Top on the scoreboard. Why not bring out the biggest gun you can possibly find? And it's not going anywhere near that thing.
Yeah, it's just going to back off, save this gun. They've still got all of their armor as well, so it's going to be good there. That said, we will see Ilu coming forwards, looking to hunt that down. They know that the economy of Weekend Warriors is, well, not going to be great after this round, so they're looking to do as much damage as they can. In the end, not willing to go any further to try and hunt down Air, so Air will get through into the next round, but we're not really going to be able to see the Weekend Warriors invest into this one. They just don't have the funds to do so. So it should be another freebie round here for Enderpearl. And yeah, unless the power pistols of Weekend Warriors are able to upset this, suddenly we're all the way back to a it's a 4-0 half at that point, and a 10-6 scoreline. So they're starting to close the gap with this early momentum. Weekend Warriors need to be really careful about losing that. Oh, this is so aggro.
Straight up the mid, A short is already there. There's plenty of utility to slow them down, but so far it is only Devour. Finding Struck with the power pistol already being put to work. That's not going to win out in a duel against the Odin. Ilu melting down trades on either team. The Boombot getting some action for a change, as it looks like Enderpearl deciding they want to defend this round.
Yeah, they're going to rotate through CT, make their way onto the site from the back. I don't think Minimize was expecting that one. Gets gunned down, but I don't
Whoa.
really. Yeah, they didn't know Omar was on site. Takes up
Oh
two.
my! Takes that 2. And look, they've done enough that it's just Fate left. Got the spike going to the teleport. It's a game of cat and mouse, but my goodness, Oh My's brought the Weekend Warriors back into this.
And Funk has an opportunity to maybe pick up a gun from somewhere. There should be weapons around, but oh no! we're just running through teleporters. That does mean that Funk now knows exactly where Fate is. Oh my god, he's doing it again. And you know
Oh,
what?
no.
Funk is expecting it. Funk didn't leave a site and is going to be waiting there. I don't know if Fate is going to expect that Funk was still on a site. Maybe expecting them to be running back quite late. No, the shots are... Oh, there it is. Funk.
There you go. Yeah, keep going, sorry.
Oh, I mean, that's it. Like, at this point, like, Funk absolutely predicted that. I mean, if you've made for 3 telly plays, why not 4? And as a result, yeah, I said, I don't know. I think Fate might have expected Funk to be there because we did see that shot as they moved out of cover. So it wasn't a matter of being completely caught by surprise. At the same time, though, they definitely did not win the ensuing battle. Funk cleans that one up, picks up the Weekend Warriors' first win of the half, takes it to 11-5.
And on the power pistol round, again, it comes down to oh my. There's Brimstone. Had a quiet half along with the rest of the team, but showing up when it counts. That 10-6, not looking so good. 2 round wins away. For Weekend Warriors to push themselves onto match and tournament point. The trade goes out, minimizing charge, Showstopper and Op. Of course, neither team can resurrect. Now there are no sages left on the field. Air waiting for Fate with Reyna. Not having the best of rounds, couple in a row where they're just expected and taken care of.
Great discipline from Funk there. Actually gets the spike down on A, even as everyone else is committing to B, trying to bait the push there. But it's something we've seen from Funk. They are usually the player that will stay and hold the site just in case it is a bait. And they get trusted as the lurker to be the one to pick up those sort of late 1v1 matchups there. Works out there, and now it is 3 players guarding this spiked and Struct alone against the world, having to try and make a play out of this. Not going to happen.
Only had 33 health anyway, so always going to be hard pressed. But that sees Weekend Warriors moving on to round point, not match point, as Valorant seems to think. We're gonna have a chat to Riot, get them to give us some nice custom round-ending messages.
It will be map point if nothing else. Weekend Warriors 12-5. And they're in a decent position here to close it out. Minimize does have the op as well. The attackers, they have a real mixed bag of buys, a couple of ARs. Jars is back on the Judge, Zuliet on the Odin, and Struct on the Spectre. But they've taken B site really quickly. The members of Weekend Warriors looking to play for the retake here.
Yeah, they invest a couple of ultimates early to the attacking team that don't quite get anything directly from it, but the spike has been planted. They've got control of the point. Minimize, though, runs right back up B main, able to take Fate. Funk, oh dear. Zoman better be bloody careful. Zuliet has the Odin in hand and a massive crosshair to go with that massive gun. There, plugs away nails too. What a play. Leaves that fight on 3 health. Oh no, the orbital strike. It's going to finish off the Phoenix, but in the end, the rest of Enderpearl able to get the cleanup they need. They don't need the spike to detonate. As they move up to 12-6, they could see a repeat of the scoreline from the last time these two teams met.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be that surprising there. I mean, it was not on this map that happened, as for a moment there I thought it was, but that was not the case. The last time these teams fought, it was a 13-6 ending score in favor of the Weekend Warriors, but that was over on Haven, which we may end up on if we go to map 3. Still, a bit of time before that one, as we see the attack pushing forwards here. They're really committing heavily to this showers push here. And once again, Azuliate with the Odin leading the charge.
Well, it's been working so far, and you've got to... No point leaving any tricks in the bag. This is the grand final. Any surprises you take away from this match, you don't get to use. Spike being put down. Now, falls afoul of Ilu. Plenty of smoke cover allows the spike to be planted and gains a little bit more positioning for Enderpearl.
Get out of my
Yeah,
way.
Funk's lurking here in U-Haul, but they're expecting that. A lot of sprays happening into there. Now Struck will finish off Funk there as well. It's now 5v3. It's going to be really hard. Make that
Oh, the
5v2.
headshot with the blade! Ilu, long range flicks, finishing up one. Didn't quite get the drop on Minimize, but that Sage is the only defender left, stuck up in heaven. That might just be where they're going, though. They get the trade into Ilu and Struck, so doing a little bit of damage, even if they're not going to come away with the round win.
Yeah, and I mean, that's still very important there. I mean, Minimize already had the ult, so you're not getting any progress towards that. But any guns you can take away from Enderpearl is damage to their side that they may not be able to undo here. Weekend Warriors, they are going to have to eco into this one, so they're pulling out the power pistols once again. We're going to have, by the looks of it, 5 sheriffs on the field. Maybe 4, I don't know. Still some indecision. Will be 4 sheriffs and a frenzy in the hand of Minimize. A couple of players picking up armor. As I say that, Oh My goes over to the Ghost as well. But either way, they will be defending with the power pistols, and they're just going for a rush straight out here.
They all step out. They get one, but the rest of the team is mown down. Mate, sitting in the teleport, we're going to get cut down. Devour. Using this, holding up in here, and looks like Enderpearl not even going for the plant. They just want to kill the Phoenix, get the round over and done with. Oh, Ilu, you're waiting too long by that door.
Yeah, and how much? So it's a 1v2, so this actually still an opportunity here for Devour to clean this one up. Jar's going to go around and maybe throw that into the looking to throw that into the teleporter, punish them if they are going to sit in there. Prior to that, it will be cleaned up, but that sort of aggro play is sort of what you want from your eco defenses, and maybe you hope that you don't catch the whole team trying to push up there, because the members of Enderpearl were stacked up to go through B short. You hope to catch 1 or 2 people there. You take them out. Maybe you take a casualty. Maybe you don't. The important thing is you upgrade to the rifles there. In the end, it doesn't work out because there are so many members of the opposition there to respond to that 5-man push. And, well, now we're into another gun round between these two teams. Minimize has the op once again. And Azuliat will be continuing with the Odin Junie, the rest of the members of Enderpearl over onto the ARs. And again, this is Weekend Warriors investing heavily here. If they lose this round, then once again, they're probably stuck on a half buy or an eco, which means another opportunity to close that gap further. It's still 12-8, still overwhelmingly in favor of the Weekend Warriors. We're actually in a bit of a pause at the moment now. So maybe a bit of a tactical meeting here for the members of Weekend Warriors, trying to get their nerves back under control, because they have really given up a lot of rounds in this half. It is 6-2 in the second half.
So we're seeing Enderpearl really showing up. Maybe that first half was just the warm up they needed. They're flexing their muscles a bit, get stretching out, going, oh, we've had a long day of practice or work or study or whatever it is that Enderpearl do during the day, and they're just getting into it. And Azuliate sitting at the bottom of the scoreboard, but perhaps holding the rest of the team up. That's what they're doing down there. They're not last in the kills. They're just carrying the rest of the team with that big heavy gun.
Well, that is the thing. They're the one that's going for the entries. They're the one that's scouting for the information and going for the risky plays. So it's not surprising. Still, we will be seeing them go for the teleplay through, looking to come onto A. The defense is rotating around a little bit, but all of them playing back of sight. Bomb buddy out, and they're just going to keep rotating through. It's actually going to be a push towards B without going through the telly, which is going to give them an opportunity for a 5v2 push onto site there.
The defenders have twigged. You see a couple of rotations going around through the defense. They got Minimize plugging away with the op, not quite finding anything. But it's given enough time. Oh no, they run it back. Unfortunately, not
I know
going to
exactly.
see the spike on site quite yet. There you go, Neural Theft highlighting exactly where the attackers are. Oh my, and Val following up, using that intel fate. Gets one back. It's just two attackers remaining. Make that one fate, the lone Rainer. As Devour gets... They just get friendly paranoid.
Oh, it's a lot of damage onto Fate, who needs to try and win this 1v3. The timing almost good to catch Devour there, but Devour is still able to line that up. And when you've only got 18 health left, it doesn't have to be the best shot in the world to put you down. Weekend Warriors will be picking up Bind, going up 1-0 in this series. And that puts them onto match point here. Enderpearl, they now get to decide what map they want to take the Weekend Warriors to as they try and bring this one back.
Yeah, so a rough first half for them, but Enderpearl showing up in that second half, showing that their defense is nothing to be sniffed at. And if it comes down to it, they're willing to throw everything and the kitchen sink at a match. And it started paying off results. Yeah, it's just unfortunate that first half let them down. That I hope that's not coming through on stream. Sorry, just a little in-game chatter. So I'll be curious to see whether or not they continue that momentum coming into the next map, and given they get to choose Pyronius, I wouldn't be surprised if they get off to a good start this time.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like for a moment there they were going to take it to Haven, but they've adjusted their pick, gonna take it to Ascent, which, as we mentioned at the start of the game, is a bit of a weakness for the Weekend Warriors as well. So it's going to be a real opportunity for them to change the pace of this one. We already saw that Enderpearl had absolutely changed the mental state after having such a terrible first half. They go over there onto attack and they put up a much better performance there. You did say that they were better on attack on this map, and sure enough, that does end up being true. Unfortunately, the lead that the Weekend Warriors had already gathered in that first half made all the difference. We'll see how when the scores are reset, though, when we go over to Ascent, a map that they have looked so good on. I think from what we have in terms of the data we've been together, it's a 3-0 in favor of Enderpearl here. So they've got a 100% win rate, having been here 3 times. And we haven't seen Weekend Warriors here because it's a map that they really want to avoid going to.
Indeed. We are. You talked about they've got that 3-0 record in Ascent, at least on broadcast. Importantly, 2 of those victories have been against other top 4 teams in the tournament. They took down Vantage, and they took down Forbidden Gaming last week on the map, and it was the map that secured them that semi-final win and put them through to this match, so that they'll be feeling very confident coming into this second map. And you know what? They need everything they can get. One more map win for Weekend Warriors will see them crowned Valor Cup champions. So everything to play for here for Enderpearl to stay in the match.
Absolutely. All of the pressure here now on the members of Enderpearl, but at the same time, as we said, Ascent, it's not a great map for Weekend Warriors. They know it. Maybe Enderpearl know it as well. It looks like there will be a slight delay. One player has gone for a quick bathroom break. So it looks like these are requesting a 2-minute break. So we will do the same. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Don't go anywhere.
What's up with it?
Welcome back, everyone, to the grand finals of the Valor Cup presented by Amateur Oceanic Esports. Wow, I've only been casting for these guys this long.
Oh,
I got the name right.
Really putting the amateur and amateur. It's the casters.
And sponsored by My Republic Gamer. If you're just joining us, Weekend Warriors have picked up the first map in this series, putting them to match point in this best of three. But Enderpearl have taken the second map to Ascent, which might be a bit of a weakness here for the Weekend Warriors. So we'll see if they're able to tie this one up and get us through to a tiebreaker third map.
Indeed, and I'll be interested to see what agents are selected by both teams. Enderpearl in particular coming out with something we haven't seen from them before in the tournament, and well, not even from them. They picked a Sageless comp on Bind. Not something I've certainly I've seen before. It's just not done. It's not cricket.
Yeah, we've seen more and more Sageless comps coming out in the last couple of weeks. Seen a real movement towards it. I think there was some stats I saw earlier from one of the recent tournaments that actually showed the teams that were winning, the heroes that they'd picked. Sage was one of the lowest ones on the winning team pick rate. So we're starting to see her maybe exit the meta a little bit in some of the maps. It really does depend, though. There are definitely maps where those walls are absolutely pivotal. I think we'll continue to see those be really important on those maps. And here on Ascent is definitely one of them where she can really put some work in for it. So perhaps unsurprisingly, both of these teams will be picking up a Sage here. It is going to be the Weekend Warriors. Yeah, Weekend Warriors on attack, Enderpearl on defense there as we head into the first pistol round. And we will see if the defense is a bit more solid here from Enderpearl than it was back on Bind, because they really can't afford to give up another half 10-2 like that. It was really put them into a bad spot where their attacking half was actually looking pretty good, but because they were so far behind, absolutely pays off against them. We're seeing them being very cautious here on the pistol round, though. A lot of scouting on mid, but they haven't committed to anything.
They have gone over to some more familiar comfort heroes for themselves. Ilu, of course, sticking on the Jet, but they've got Struct on the Omen. And they've also brought along a Sova, which is really, really good, particularly on the B side here. You get lots of intel down in that pit, and Ilu already off to a flyer start, followed up by Jars. That's going to see an early advantage going over to Enderpearl.
An early advantage, but we'll see the rotate coming through from both these teams. Enderpearl looking to rotate towards B. Meanwhile, the attack's actually coming back through onto A, but Struct lurking there will pick up mid as well. That will be the round going through there. So Enderpearl pick up the pistol round. It's a good opening from them. It means they're going to be able to invest into this second round as well. We're probably going to see the full eco coming through from the Weekend Warriors.
If this game was charging for ammunition, Enderpearl would be really pleased with that round. 4 out of 5 kills, headshots with those ghosts. They'll need to keep up that kind of momentum. And I'm not surprised it was Ilu opening up their account here with that quick 2K. They led the way for their team, led the server actually on the last map. And they'll be looking for a similar, if not better, performance here.
Smoke's down.
It looked like Ilu was hovering the Marshal before, but they're going to be going for the areas here. And it's paying off there. LMGs into a choke point. Everyone comes running through. Absolute slaughter.
Bladestorm already! Oh. Well, Ilu, they pulled out the Bladestorm, got very aggressive, in the end not getting anything for it, but I mean, I think Ilu's just having fun right now.
Yeah, I mean it's got something satisfying about well, fish in a barrel basically. This is what we saw there with those two LMGs just spraying into the B. They were absolutely set up for a B rush there, and well, because of that, it went exactly how you'd expect it to. Now we're heading into the third round. We will have the Weekend Warriors actually buying in with guns, and this is where things get interesting because a lot of the members of Enderpearl looking to stay with these eco picks. Ilu's just picking up the Sheriff there, saving for the op in the next round. So this means that there's going to be a gun advantage here for Weekend Warriors if they're able to capitalize on it.
Currently just deciding where they want to make a move. A couple of players sitting in mid. The rest of them over towards A, but it looks like they might be coming to a decision. Well, the decision for the moment at least is fortify mid. Struct. Just the Spectre. Does a lot of damage to Ilu there to finish off. Oh, that's a nice paranoia. Able to get the finish onto Struct. Sorry, finish onto Minimize. It's leaving Enderpearl in yet again another great position. 5 players up to Weekend Warriors 2.
Yeah, Struct and Ilu work really well together playing these corners, but ooh, that lurking air there almost actually caught out Ilu, so real opportunity there. Looks like they're going to be going for maybe a play onto A if they can bait a heavy rotate onto B. Otherwise, they're just going to look to hold on to these weapons. It's really going to be on the members of Enderpearl to expose themselves to a potential play here, but I think Weekend Warriors are just going to be happy to wait this one out, save those guns, and bring them into the next round because they do not have the economy to invest outside of what they can bring across.
There you go. Ilu getting a little upgrade there, so they finish off better than they started. That's an early lead now for Enderpearl, sitting in a position that Weekend Warriors found themselves in last map, and wonder if the Warriors are worried about now.
Okay. It looks like, yeah, I was half expecting Ilu to drop that gun over to Jars and pick up the op here, but it looks like that's not what's going to happen. Jars actually sticking with the Spectre despite the team having plenty of money. But I guess they know their opponent's in an eco, so why invest the money into a better gun when a Spectre's going to be just fine? We've got the 2 players there, Funk and Air, that are able to come through with the armor and rifles from the previous round. The rest of the team's going to pick up Sheriffs, a couple of players having armor as well, but it's not everything. And it's just going to be on them to try and secure some early kills, take those guns, and win out the round from there. We've seen them do it before, and Funk pick up Ilu with a good start towards doing it again.
I was a little worried about Devour edging towards the front of that dark cover, but in the end, it will be the defensive Jet who is the first to fall. Weekend Warriors get their first advantage of the map. It's taken them 4 rounds to get to this point.
It was a good wall from Jars, though, to deny the gun, making it really hard for any of the members of Weekend Warriors to pick up any additional weaponry. They want to make sure there's nothing that... yeah, they want to minimize the amount of effective players on the Weekend Warriors here. At the moment, they know that there's the 2 guns they saved the previous round. They don't want them to have 3. Oh, no. Jars... Oh, wins the duel.
Corner! What a play. This Sage as the rest of the Weekend Warriors heading over towards B, but Fate is there and waiting. Taking down Oh My. No last minute heroics out of the Brimstone. The Weekend Warriors going to get the spike planted. to the side of Enderpearl to make their way in as Minimize sits on top of an interestingly placed wall.
Yeah, those off angles can be really nasty, but the recon there from Sova, able to spot that out. The punishment is there.
Struct, willing to walk into that dark cover to finish things off. I like seeing the Omen there. Use that Sage Wall.
Yeah, really nicely played there by the team. Good use of resources. In the end, it will be another round going over here in favor of the members of Enderpearl, who have got a 4-0 lead on this map. But let's face it, there's only really been one full gun round between these two teams. So we'll see if the Weekend Warriors can bring it back now that they're once again able to invest into it. See Ilu finally bringing out the op as well. Enderpearl have got a really strong economy at this point because of this early lead, though. So Weekend Warriors, it's going to be a while before they absolutely break the members of Enderpearl, even if they are able to start picking up rounds. And Fate here has picked up a spare Odin in addition to their assault rifle. So they're able to get the spray through the wall and then swap to a more versatile weapon.
Well, the Owl drone, lightly armored. I think Sova maybe wanted to talk to Killjoy about upgrading, perhaps. Just chuck a gun on it, little portable turret. That'll really make the players happy.
Oh yeah. You can see the Twitter arguments now about it. Well, it's not really an argument, just people reposting that abilities don't kill people in Valorant. Nonetheless, we will have the Weekend Warriors. They're looking like they're bringing this one towards B. Mid and B, in fact. And we're going to have the wall going up in mid there to block them off behind that smoke, which is going to slow down this push. Only 37 seconds left on the clock, so they need to commit to a site. They need to make it happen soon.
Fate firing away through the smoke, not quite getting any value.
Ooh.
So run it back, invested by the attackers. Doesn't come to much as Ilu and Azulia pick up frags of their own. To 4v2, make that a 3v2. Oh my, finding Fate. Gets caught out by Struck, who's still waiting on the site. Takes a duel against Devour, does enough damage. Granting Azulia easy access to kill the Phoenix and finish off the round as Enderpearl extend their lead out to 5 rounds to zip.
And getting the spike down there and mark it means it was going to be really hard for the Weekend Warriors to be able to get back into that. And they had so many people watching it and so many fights they needed to win to get to it with very little time on the clock. So really nicely played there. Getting the spike down where it did really meant it was going to be so difficult for Weekend Warriors to pick up that round. Still, Weekend Warriors are able to inflict a little bit of damage there. Maybe not enough to break the economy. Now they're force buying once again. Omar's going to be back on the Sheriff. The rest of the team is going to be playing with Vandals. But Devour doesn't have the full armor here. So still a stronger buy here for the members of Enderpearl. Looking to try and make this a 6-0. And in the process, again, completely obliterate the economy of the Weekend Warriors.
Speaking of the Warriors, they're making their way. A concerted effort through mid that they don't have the spike. Ilu could push forward here and realize that the spike is down. They could keep that covered and win the round that way. There's Minimize heading back. Picking that one up. They're going to stay with it for now. Devour in a very advanced position. Up in front of the defender's spawn. Looking for something, anything that can give Warriors an opening into this map.
Yeah, definitely. And at the same time, there is a crossfire there guarding that. They know that they've given up mid control, so they are making sure no one is able to wrap through CT. Be a really risky play for Devour to go for it, but they are edging towards it. And because of the hit comes down on A, the crossfire is no longer there. There's an opportunity here for Devour.
Ilu in the smoke. Oh, they don't know each other there. Boom! There goes one. Meanwhile, on the site, a couple of kills. Ilu finally finishes off Devour. Air not content to let this round go.
I have retrieved the spike.
Picks up the spike, going to go for the plant, but in the end, the rest of the defense is too much for the Cypher to handle. There it is, the big 6-0. Enderpearl off to a phenomenal start. they're looking like they want to take us to a map 3 as quick as possible.
Yeah, I mean, this is a great map for them. It's possibly their strongest map, and we know it's also one of the weakest for Weekend Warriors as well. So this is the moment it went here. This is sort of what we expected from it, but it's good to see that Enderpearl can make it happen here. It's good to see that their defense can be solid here after such a shaky defense on Bind. And they're not a team that just thrives on winning out on those attack rounds. Once again, Weekend Warriors are going to come into this one with the power pistols. Omar is actually on a stinger, not a weapon we see a lot of here. So goes to show just how much trouble the Weekend Warriors are having getting any sort of headway into this one. And I mean, they can surprise us, and they've had a few rounds where they pick things up. Definitely a surprise there as Devour picks up Struct. It's going to allow them to take control of the site as well as... well, no, they're not going to be able to get control of that gun because Azuliet is there guarding it, making sure they can't.
Ilu stuck in heaven, undercover in the slow. Finally pops out, not seeing anyone through A main, not really realizing the rest of the attackers are down below them. So Azuliet picking out Funk, minimized down. Oh, Enderpearl walking all over Weekend Warriors, but the oh my is still there with the stinger. There you go, it comes into action, takes out one. And the orbital strike going to deny the defuse for the moment, give the attackers a chance to reposition on top. And another headshot. Oh my goodness gracious me. Weekend Warriors are back in this. One round, it's not much, but it's a start.
Especially considering it was one of their weakest buys. Picking that up there means picking it up cheaply. As a result, they pick up an op, they pick up an AR. They're going to take those weapons through into the next one. And this is what they need to change the momentum in this game. Now, Minimize is going to have that op. Now, Ilu has an op of their own, but it doesn't look like the two of them will be playing in the same place. So we're probably not going to see an op duel right away this round. Could be nasty for Jars running into that one. But no, okay. Minimize actually going to be playing up towards A, not looking to take the duel in mid. See how this unfolds here is again, Weekend Warriors just looking to scout out, looking to bait out resources from the defense and make their decision late about where they want to go. That seems to be their playstyle a lot of the time. They don't commit to a site until they're absolutely ready to commit to it. They'll just look to poke and prod, check angles, scout out the defense, then make a decision about where they want to go. And that's what they're doing here.
Being incredibly thorough. Yeah, so thorough, they think, you know what? A may not be the go right now. Minimize retrieves the spike. They got lots of mid control. There you go. Maybe made it. Devour. The run it back. Identifying exactly where Struct is playing from air with the follow-up. Great intel gathering. It's going to grant Weekend Warriors access to this site. They don't see anyone and lots of utility onto Heaven to stop any of the defenders poking out. Though it doesn't stop Azuliet taking care of business. Devoured down Jars. Sees a wall and a door. Ilu has the blades in hand. Has to get a little bit of healing from the friendly Sage. As the spike is planted, it's a 3v4, so still doable for the Warriors.
Yeah, good pickup though from Fate with the Hunter's Fury. Now that's going to give a lot of information. They now know... Oh, he saw the gun. There it is. That will be minimized out. Last player playing out in long. And yeah, very nice. That slow field putting in the work. And so that will be the members of Enderpearl getting this back under control. They'll recover that operator as well. So look for a double op defense on this next setup. And the Weekend Warriors, they are able to buy into this round because of their win on the eco before. So they're able to continue contesting, but at 7-1 in the half, they are running out of rounds that they can afford to give away here.
They could well be looking down the barrel of exactly what they delivered to Enderpearl on the first map. A 10-2 may happen. You know, 11-1 is still on the table. But I wouldn't count the Warriors out just yet. They're the best team in this competition so far, and that is for a reason.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of early intel gathered here from the members of the Weekend Warriors, getting a spy cam dart onto Azuliet. That said, they're going to be pushing up mid here, and oh, great stock.
Oh, Struct.
Yeah.
Gonna be stealing Omar's sight. Not going to quite get the follow-up. Azuliate tries to take the duel, but the Brimstone wins it out. Ilu plugs away down mid.
You
Not finding
will
anything, just
kill my
putting a
ally.
little bit of fear into the attackers. But they're not afraid now. They know where the defense is set up. Minimize removes Strux from the fight and brings back a friendly.
It's going
Chaz.
to allow them to set up here on the A site. Wall up on Heaven as well. Going to frustrate the defense.
Oh no, Jars knew exactly where the Brimstone was hiding. Gonna get cut down. Fate gets a little bit of revenge, but has to pick up another weapon. Devour pops around the corner. The classic getting the job done there. And the spike, it's beeping away. Just Ilu left. It looks like he may just want to
Ilu's not
save
gonna
the op.
take this one. Yeah, exactly. A 1v3 retake with an op in hand. Not a great position to be
Oh dear.
in, even if you've still got the full thing. But gets caught out in mid there. Actually,
Picks up the Vandal. And what was
Yeah,
that?
all right. He's expecting someone else to come hunting for him. Really watching these angles carefully. Probably going to want to get back the op, but not going to have the time. So they will be taking the Vandal on into the next round. That's a bit of a blow there because they're not going to be able to afford to buy into this round with an op. But, I mean, their economy's sort of stretched to its limit anyway. Struct is not actually going to have an AR in this round. They're going to have to compromise to the Spectre there. So not really what they would have liked from the buy there. Meanwhile, the Weekend Warriors, well, they're back and rolling. They're able to reinvest into this round. Minimize is going to pick up the op once again. So another opportunity here for Weekend Warriors to make their way back into this one. If they can win this round, they will have broken through the Enderpearl economic advantage.
Lots on the line in this round as we close in on the end of the first half. Blue playing very aggressively up in mid. Oh my, around the other side of that wall. Curious as to know whether either of those players know that they're just inches apart. So close they could almost touch.
I think they had a bit of an idea, but neither of them willing to take the risk there, given that, well, it's very risky to go for that. We're going to see the rotate from the attackers. They're going to rotate around onto A. Oh, we actually see some of the shadows being popped there. Get some scouting information from that one. But not as much scouting information as it could have, because we see the rotation back towards B. So
yeah, it's unfortunately Struck popped out on Funk's head, but the take is good on the site. Air picking up a quick 3K. Going to lock it down. Allow Minimize to plant the spike in that default position. Weekend Warriors have the site locked down, just the two defenders remaining to attempt a retake.
yeah, I don't know if they want to go for it. I think they might be setting up for exit frags. No, we are creeping up towards Heaven, so maybe they are looking to go for a play here. I mean, they're kind of in trouble, win or lose at this point. So you maybe want to try and do something. Now, Ilu's definitely not going for it, though. So Fate's getting more aggressive than I'd expect for someone who's playing for the exit frags. But in the end, no one's going to run that.
No.
Ilu gets picked up by Funk as well. There's going to be no exit frags available here. Fate will take that rifle into the next round. But I mean, the economy's not as bad for Enderpearl as I thought, actually. They will be able to buy into this one. But the risk is if they buy into this round and it goes badly, they won't be able to buy into the final one for the half. That said, it does look like they'd prefer to play this one and risk it not work out than go for a half buy or an eco into this one and bring it back into that final round for the half. So they're making their stand here and now. We'll see if it works out for them.
We will minimize. Hovering over into the spike, looking for those long-range shots. Plenty of support for those attackers running up through mid. Actually, it's Air who picks up the spike in the end. No, drops it.
Yeah, they're not going to touch that spike until they're ready to commit to a site. And as we said before, they're very cautious with that. It's going to be a bit of info for the defense there. They know there's a couple of people out mid thanks to that owl drone. But I mean, it looks like the rotation is humming towards a short here and now. Looking like it might be an A hit, but the spike's still yet to be picked up. Minimize heading back to grab that now. And that's an entry. That's what they need. Now they're going to commit to this A. But Ilu's pushed up, ready to contest.
There's a nice paranoia through. Might have just tagged Ilu. Struck's paranoia is so good. It hits air. Unfortunately, both Ilu and Struck, those two aforementioned players being in position, are taken down. And my trades out a bit of damage with Azuliate, but is able to get in onto the site and get the door shut. It's immediately broken down. Enderpearl have their work cut out for them for the re-engage. They're a couple of they're a member down. And a run it back coming out from Devour.
Oh!
Fate the molly! That's a friendly fire there. Oh my, deletes Funk, but there you go. The ace from Devour saving Weekend Warriors Grace there. Oh, that could have been brutal.
Yeah, I mean, it's not often you see a friendly fire kill in Valorant, but it can happen from the abilities, and we saw it happen just there. Now we have the, the desperation buy in the last round for the half here coming out from Enderpearl. 7-4 the scoreline in their favor. Weekend Warriors looking to make this one an 8-4. Sorry, Weekend Warriors looking to make this a 7-5, rather. And they've definitely got the weapons to do it. There's a couple of judges on the field. And I mean, Jet with a judge can be really nasty. The speed ability is allowed to get right up in your face suddenly. So definitely an opportunity to turn that one around.
Just hoping the hit comes down on A. And the Warriors do check hell. But for the moment, they're just split, deciding where they want to go. A couple of members progressing up that B long side, with the rest of the team racing to join them. There'll be a significant numbers advantage for the Warriors coming into this hit.
Yeah, they are setting up for this one. We have just Funk on the lurk there, going to catch people on the rotate.
Oh, here it comes. Ilu has to reposition. The orbital strike coming down. Now we'll see what the shotgun can do. Nothing! Oh my! Removes Ilu from the fight. Funk is traded out by Zuliate. Neural theft of both teams, plus the trap going to identify exactly where Oh my is hiding. They know Zuliate hiding that boathouse at the back. Not going to pick up any kill. Destruct and Jars making their way onto the site. Even up the odds just a little bit. Oh my, stuck now. Doesn't have the spike. Has to throw the smoke down and hope one of those defenders pokes their head out.
Yeah, he's able to pick up the spike, goes for the plant, tries to bait a rotation coming through, doesn't able to win the duel though. Jars cleans that one up. With that, it will be an 8-4 half in favor of the members of Enderpearl here. Will now be moving over onto the attack. Weekend Warriors, I mean, we've said it before, not a great map for them. So it's perhaps not too surprising, but this is not what they wanted from this one. It looks like they won't be able to go for the clean 2-0 unless they're able to take a really strong opening into this second half.
Well, Enderpearl certainly have their work cut out for them. They can't rest on their laurels just yet. Right now, they'll be hoping for some first round heroics in the half, like we saw last time, that got them off to that great start. Although when you think about it, they were all, 6-0 up, and then given the scoreline now, that's 4-2. So the Weekend Warriors, once they got going, so if they're able to continue that momentum, Enderpearl will be worried.
Yeah, the trick is that the momentum really gets reset with the half.
Oh, there you go!
Ilu, there we go.
The double kill, the triple, 3 kills, 3 headshots for this Jet. In a position to catch out any of those defenders coming from their spawn. Taking a peek around the corner. Spike has been planted in the meantime. Saw an ace in the last round. Could we see it again?
Potentially here. Oh, no.
Oh, no. Devour putting paid to that. Oh my, picking up a kill of their own, but in the end, it will be Enderpearl getting their second pistol round of the map.
And that's going to be, as usual, really important coming into this second round. It's going to give them a lot of momentum in the second half. We're going to see Weekend Warriors on the eco here. They're going to pick up a single shorty, at least so far. So we're going to see if Devour can make something happen with that one. There's an opportunity, definitely. A lot of teams like to go for the B rush on the second round if they lose the first one. Even if they win the first one, really. But no, if they lose it, yeah. Because it's the angle with the shortest range. You're less likely to run afoul of the bigger weapons. We've got a nasty crossfire set up. We'll see if it pays off.
Oh, there you go. Devour was paranoid, couldn't see a thing, able to get one. But Illu and Jars making the defenders pay. They're in on the site. The spike in hand for Struct, getting it planted. A nice barrier from Jars. Going to use the boost. Not content with locking the defenders out. Wants to try and get a couple of quick kills. Oh, has to back off. Thankfully, though, Minimize only had the classic there, Peronius.
Yeah, I mean, that could have been really nasty. Minimize going for those right clicks there, just in case someone was standing on that wall. Now, they don't know for sure they've inflicted damage there, so they can't report it through to the team. And of course, will be healed up as well.
Jars picking up a quick double. Gonna make life very difficult for the last defender remaining. Funk tries to go up against the shotgun of Illu, but coming off second best. Well, the double shotgun set up for Illu, Shorty and the Judge.
Yeah, well, sometimes it's all you need is shotguns. Especially if you're Jet, where you've got those movement abilities, you can get up in people's faces. That's the sort of play you're going for. Might as well lean into it, especially if that's what you're expecting from your opponent. But now they're going for a really interesting half buy here. We see the Weekend Warriors finally able to fully invest. They got the 5 ARs on the field, but Illu's going to hold on to that Judge, and
Bladestorm again.
Jars and the Celia, they're going to hold on to those Spectres as well with Fate on the Sheriff. So it's really a bit of an eco buy coming in from Enderpearl here. An opportunity for the Weekend Warriors to shift the momentum of this early match. Well, early stage of the half, rather.
They could get the drop on Struct here. There you go, Funk cleaning up the Omen. It's going to be a 1v2. Oh, sorry, that. There you go, another Blade kill. Illu lighting up, well, I won't say lighting up, that's more of a Phoenix roll. Cutting down the opposition with this Blade Storm. Been so deadly with it so far. Minimize dodges the right click. Able to get away with the life, but it leaves Illu with the Judge plugging away at the Sage. Gonna take care of business. Oh, onto the high ground with the Vandal. Picks up their third. Illu, is there nothing this man can't do? Oh my lord. Another round win for Enderpearl sees them move 2 rounds from leveling up the series, taking us to a decisive third map.
Absolutely, and what a great play there. Not only do they eco it, but they clean it up and take 3 of their opponent's assault rifles into the next round. That's going to put them in such a strong position here. Weekend Warriors, they don't have the economy now. They're going to have to come into this one with the power pistols. We've seen them do good things with power pistols, but it's not easy, especially on a map with this much long-range sight lines. It's really hard to fight the ARs with just pistols. That's what they're going to have to try and do here. And if they can't make something of this round, then they're on to match point.
Though again, Weekend Warriors get the first pick of a round. Fate going down very early. We'll see how Enderpearl chooses to respond.
Yeah, still very cautious rollout here from Enderpearl. I mean, it's understandable once you're a man down as well. Now they're pushing up through mid. They've got complete control there. Looking to wrap through from market.
There you go, in on the site. Illu dashing around with that tailwind. Zuliate looking the other way. He's blocking off a couple of defenders along with Minimize. But there you go, the Jet. Illu on the point takes down Devour. The spike being planted on B by Struct. Enderpearl have the site locked down, and it's an even numbers. Oh no! Oh, Air poked his gun out. Ilu picking up a couple of their own. Sitting on 3 kills for the round. And again, we're left with just Funk with everything to do.
Yeah, I think Funk's just going to back off here and save the gun. I mean, they don't have the money. I think after the lost bonus coming through, they'll be able to buy into the next round, but saving an extra gun means that they're in that much stronger a position. It means if they do win the round, that their economy is less vulnerable. That said, they're hunting for him. Jar's getting very close here and now. Oh, actually misses it. Could be an opportunity for Funk to punish. Yeah.
There you go. A little bit of arrogance from the stage. But hey, you're on map point, taking you through to the 3rd map. Sometimes you can afford to be a little arrogant.
Yeah, I mean, you can only be cautious for so long. You're trying to check every corner on the map. You don't have time to be ultra cautious there, and it really was just an absolute coincidence of timing. You managed to not spot them in the first way through. And they assume that Funk is holding a much closer corner there than he actually was, and it doesn't pay off. But in the end, still...
Whoa!
Ooh.
That runner back from Devour puts a good use, picking up 2 before it even wears off. So fantastic use of the ultimate by the Phoenix to sit Weekend Warriors up very well in this round. They're looking to stay in this map. They don't want to go to map 3 just yet, if at all.
Yeah, still an opportunity here to overwhelm a site and bring it back. And Jar's only 1 orb away from it, but a 3rd kill being picked up there by Devour means that the odds of this one being the final round are getting longer and longer with each passing moment. Now we see the commitment onto Heaven. Jar's actually investing the res there. Not sure I agree with that decision there. And sure enough, it will be cleaned up here by the Weekend Warriors. 12-5 the scoreline now in favor of Enderpearl.
Enderpearl, perhaps. We talked about arrogance a couple of rounds ago. Maybe it is going to their heads that they're so far ahead. They think themselves unassailable. The Weekend Warriors, they want to teach them a lesson. And what better way to teach them a lesson than fully reverse sweep to take out a championship? But still, they have their work cut out for them. They're still 8 round wins in a row away from taking out this map. They can't afford any mistakes.
Absolutely, and they're going to have to be playing, well, they don't have a choice. They will be playing into a double op defense here as well. As the members of Enderpearl looking to close this one out. A lot of weapons being invested here by the defense, but when your back's to the wall, that's sort of fair enough at this point. They've got Ilu on the op. And, yeah, Minimize not willing to take the duel with Ilu there. Just playing very passive on the defense here are the members of the Weekend Warriors. They cannot afford to take the risks.
So, a little look-see up towards A. Enderpearl biding their time, getting themselves ready in position. Zuliat going for trees, backing off ever so slightly, aware that someone might be wanted to rotate around from B, but not finding anyone. Going to recommit. We'll end up in a duel against the Omen of Funk in the not too distant future. Nice paranoia is going to force the Cypher back though.
Yeah,
oh, there you go. Enderpearl on the side. Air with the close range. Oh, picks up 2. What a start to this defense. Gets taken out for their efforts. But Enderpearl had to go. The time was ticking down. Now it's just 3 players remaining to keep this site locked down. Just the 2 now with Zuliat falling afoul of Funk in the end. We'll see if they're able to reassert some control with Ilu going up towards Heaven with the op.
A lot of pressure here.
Oh, no.
Funk.
Spots at Minimize. Doesn't get the shot off. Swaps over to a Vandal. But has been spotted. Devour finishing off.
Oh,
Oh no, the Hunter's Feud. We've seen it before. It takes out Oh My. but it's
okay.
not going to be enough to finish Minimize, but the timer! Oh no, they get it! The defuse comes through! Oh,
Yeah,
fate!
having already got half the defuse done, they're able to follow it through. In the end, Hunter's Fury not as strong as the Orbital Strike for denying that defuse. And so that round will just barely be limped out by the Weekend Warriors, keeping themselves alive in this one. But, I mean, with the sort of losses they're taking there, it's getting expensive to buy back into these rounds. Both of these teams are running up quite the bill. Jar's actually going to... Oh, no, they will be able to pick up a gun for Jars. So everyone is going to have the weapons they want here on the table. But we will actually see another double op defense as well. The defense, they have got a little money left in the tank here. But both of these teams are in a bit of a position, bit of a precarious position economy-wise. So...
Oh, some aggression by Ilya there, pushing right up into mid, but Minimize got that locked down. A little more sure of themselves, willing to take that duel.
Yeah, the wall there for Minimize, putting them in a bit of an unusual position, makes it just that little bit longer for Ilu to readjust it there, and that ends up being all the difference there.
Lots of utility invested in mid. The Paranoia sweeps through. Doesn't hit Minimize, but forces the Sage back. Trying to thread the needle with those lucky shots. But Fate moving on to B, able to take out Devour. That's a good start. The spike is there, going to be planted in the corner, right next to the boathouse. It's a 4v4 for Warriors as they come in to recontest.
Ooh.
Oh, that was a nice paranoia. Zuliate didn't see Funk coming. Leveling the odds just a little bit. And the orbital strike clearing the boathouse forces all the defenders out into the big pit. This is the opportunity the Warriors needed to get in there. There you go. Oh my, Funk and Air following up the kills apiece. A solid re-engage from Weekend Warriors, keeping themselves in this as they move on to 12 rounds to 7.
Yeah, they're definitely starting to come back here, and I mean, we're going to see one more full buy round here. I mean, actually, no, we got, by the looks of it, Enderpearl, they're going to go for the eco here. Not all their players could afford the full buy, so they're just going to go for the eco, try and reset their mental. This defense is starting to really look solid from Weekend Warriors. That said, the plants have been getting through and down, so it hasn't been a flawless defense by any means. They're not able to completely repel people from their sights. And, well, now we've got the power pistols. We've seen Ilu do crazy things with a sheriff. We'll see if they manage it again as they stack up towards B. We need to make this probably a quick aggress into there, given their limited buy options.
See Devour waiting in the B pit. Ready for the aggression from the attacking team. The Pearl moves around. There's a nice barrier at the back. There you go. Ilu opens up with one kill from the Sheriff. Devour, though, pops out. 2 quick responses. Stop the attack for the moment. Struct is in the pit. Gets the spike planted with Fate going down. Weekend Warriors can just casually stroll in. There goes Struct. Azulier alone in the center. The lone attacker. It's going to be another round going the way of the Warriors.
Yeah, and Azuliet not even able to get out of that one with any sort of stolen gun. In fact, he's not even going to get out of it with his sheriff. Will get taken down there in the end by Air. Still, 12-8 the scoreline. We've seen the comeback in this second half from the Weekend Warriors, but at the same time, I mean, it's a 4-4 half, so it's not a full comeback there. And now Enderpearl, they've got all the guns again. We'll see if they're able to make it happen here. This double op defense from the Weekend Warriors, once they were able to actually afford to get it up, has been very effective. And they've been really playing passive on this defense, playing for the retakes, and it's been working out for them. So I think we need to see something change from Enderpearl, because at the moment they're just not able to get enough damage inflicted as they take these sites to not allow the retake to come through.
Oh, that's gotta hurt. Air able to utilize the neural theft onto Azuliate's body. Just teaching that Cypher who's the boss Cypher in the server. Once the intel wears off, Enderpearl have an opportunity to readjust and reassess their attack.
Absolutely. It looks like they will be going for this push up the middle. Oh, okay. And we're getting some scouting of CT there with the From the Shadows. But I should have let them know that there's... Well, they knew there was one player close there. And
Oh,
I don't think he held it long
Sage.
enough to see the long one.
Jars are minimized, eyeing off the same gap. Looking for one or the other to poke around. Oh, it's Jars who gets the drop minimized. Doesn't even take any damage. Oh my, there with the cleanup. Denying any possibility of a resurrection for both teams. Structure's still up there, but Funk whips out the Vandal. Takes down 2. With a kill at the start and the end to finish things off. Weekend Warriors are on a roll. 5 rounds in a row as they close in on Enderpearl's lead.
Yeah, this is starting to get really scary for the members of Enderpearl. They need to reset their mental. They're in a rough spot here. They just have not been able to get these rounds to go their favor. They just need the one more. But the moment this double op came out, it's really confounding them. Ilu has not been taking the op v op duels. And I suppose when they have, they haven't been winning either. So we'll see if that changes here. It looks like Ilu will be leading the pack here, but Minimize picks up Struct. Once again, it's going to be Enderpearl losing someone really early in the round. Will be the res invested into that to bring that one back.
Yes, that's the advantage of Jars going down early in that last round. There wasn't an opportunity to use the res. Gave it to them this round. It has burnt roughly 30 seconds off the clock. We'll reset back to 0. Out comes the utility. Blade Storm on the point. Ilu dashes in as fate. Able to get Funk in the corner through the doorway. Let's going to see the spike get onto the site and start to be planted. Struct picking up air. That's 1 op down, 1 op remaining.
3v4 now, and for the first time, the members here of Enderpearl finally have the advantage on the site. Door gets taken out there, but the Bladestorm not able to connect onto Omai. He steps through, Opshot from Ilu, but Struct will clean them up.
Fate getting one back onto Devour. The Phoenix has been so impactful so far this round, but now out of the fight. Minimize levels the odds yet again, so it's tit for tat for both teams. The Diffuse coming through. The Hunter's Fury. This time, it might be good. Minimize takes out Ilu, but in the end, the Hunter's Fury does the job it needs to. Enderpearl secure the round. They're taking us to a map 3.
What a great comeback there. Both Enderpearl showing how dominant they are in Ascent, but Weekend Warriors, when they're back up against the wall like that, picking up so many consecutive rounds there, closing it to 13-9. So what an incredible turnaround. Still, it's sort of what we expected when we saw it go to Ascent, and yet Weekend Warriors really putting in their all to try and upset that one, upset those expectations. In the end, not able to continue to do so. And so Enderpearl will close that one out, but really they had to work for it in the end.
A valiant effort. There was 5 rounds in a row. I mean, if you look at the second half, it went 4 rounds to Enderpearl, 5 rounds in a row to Weekend Warriors. It was very back and forward momentum-wise. It wasn't the usual 1-for-1, 1-for-2 round trade you see. But Enderpearl, once they got themselves into that position where they were on map point, yeah, they only needed Weekend Warriors to slip up once, and they did. But if you look at that scoreboard at the end of the map, it's sorted by the default average combat score. It's 1 player in Enderpearl, then Weekend Warriors, and repeated the whole time. We got Christmas colors across the way, and yet again, it is Ilu leading the way, showing just how good a fragger they are.
Yeah, I mean, Ilu is an absolute monster on that jet. We see them putting in incredible work there. So it's perhaps not too surprising. We'll be heading over to our 3rd and final decisive map. Before we do, we're just going to go on to a quick break. and we'll be back very shortly for this final decisive map.
Ready? Yeah. What's up with it?
Welcome back, everybody, to the Valor Cup Finals, brought to you by Amateur Oceanic Esports, sponsored by My Republic Gamer. This is an absolute barn burner of a match. If you're just joining us now, I'm Peronius. Joining me is Temporal, and we are going to a tiebreaker map 3 to decide who will be our grand final winner.
That's right. It was a close run thing on Ascent. Enderpearl had a great lead. Weekend Warriors almost managed to claw them back in, but alas, Enderpearl able to seal the deal. And now we move on to the Weekend Warriors pick of Haven. And last time these two teams faced off, Peronius, during the group stage, it was best of ones. This is the map they played, and the Weekend Warriors took that out 13-6, so quite handedly.
Yeah, decisive victory here for the Weekend Warriors, but Enderpearl, we've seen that they can absolutely keep fighting when their backs are to the wall. And, well, now is the time to really start fighting here. I mean, that scoreline may have been 13-6, but I mean, both of these teams seem to do really well when they've got a lot of momentum behind them. Once that momentum is in place, both of them have proven very difficult to unseat. So all Enderpearl need to do is pick up those pistol rounds, transfer that into the early momentum, and they may yet be able to upset this one and take down their opponent in the Weekend Warriors. It's definitely not cut and dry here as we move over to Haven.
Indeed. And we've seen them twice on stream on this match. They've won both of those matches. And, I mean, last week in the semi-finals, probably the best example of how good this team is. They got off to a ripper of a start. They ended up taking the map 13-3 and put themselves in a good position to finish out the semi-final, come through to this grand final. But the Weekend Warriors, given that their opponent was on stream, will have had ample opportunity to study exactly what Enderpearl was throwing out that week. And who knows, maybe they have some answers. But then again, if Enderpearl is whipping out the Odins and the Areses again, maybe there aren't any answers available. Just cross your fingers and hope for the best.
Yeah, I mean, Weekend Warriors, they've also played a number of times here on Haven. Last week, they actually, in their semi-final matchup, had a map on Haven, and they did not have a great time on their attack phase there, but an iron solid defense was able to get them across the line to bring them here to these grand finals. So again, Weekend Warriors, no slouches here. And from what I was sort of able to hear from their pre-match comms on that one as well, they actually considered their defense to be not as good as their attack here. But, well, as it turned out, it was their defense that won them on that one. We'll see how they hold up here against this Enderpearl roster. As they will be starting, Weekend Warriors will be starting this one on attack. Enderpearl on the defense. Everyone's picking up ghosts for this opening round. We'll see how they want to go on this. A lot of teams like to stack A in the pistol round, and Weekend Warriors know this and look to exploit that. The A is not being stacked here. Let's see if Enderpearl are able to upset them.
Well, no surprise. There may be a surprise in the way they're approaching this round, but no surprises in either of the lineups. No changes in the agent setup for either team. So it makes sense. You put your players on the agents they are most comfortable on because there's no reason to hide anymore. There's no room for mistakes. This is the final decisive map of the tournament. One of these teams will come out of here 13 round wins time with that $100 prize in their wallets.
Cage triggered.
Absolutely, and a lot of pressure being applied here by the Weekend Warriors towards B and C. They look like they were going to maybe rotate towards C. We see the utility investor, they're baiting back towards B. In fact, they're baiting all the way around. It looks like they're going for an A push here. And, well, there's going to be two people on site. They definitely heard the footsteps coming towards A. We're going to see the full rotate from the defense. But they've got an opportunity to take control of the A side.
Oh no, Ilu! Dashed into the smoke, but Air was ready, plugging away with the Ghost, able to take care of one. A quick trade from Fate, and then onto Fate. Sees the Weekend Warriors pick up an early player advantage with the spike down Enderpearl. They got their work cut out for them if they want to take out this pistol round.
Yeah, it's such a hard retake to do on this A site as well. That's why teams like to go for the stacked A defense. So many different angles.
Oh, Funk waiting in hell, raining it down onto the defenders who dropped down. In the end, Weekend Warriors take out the pistol round. With that, they'll likely have momentum for this second round too.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what we actually see being pulled out here by Enderpearl, because we actually saw them back on Bind, as you'll remember. They actually invested heavily, force buyed into that second round to try and prevent the early game momentum. Looks like they're not going to be making that one again. It did not work out in their favor. Instead, they are picking up shorties. Looks like they're going to be stacking up here. A couple of players stacking up inside of Garage there with the shorties.
There's three players there. Zuliate with the spy cam watching out on C. seeing anything for the moment. The Weekend Warriors, they're wary, suspecting some shenanigans may be up. More heading towards B.
Yeah,
Great
it's a good
push.
play. It's a good play because both of these, A Short and Garage have got the horrible crossfires with the shorties. If they are willing to commit onto B and with the wall coming through, it looks like that's what they're going to be doing. They're going to be able to set things up. So
Air
the
catch
shorties
without
have to
struck
come
on the
out and-
rotate. That's a nice start. Ilu with the shorty managed to spot out the Cypher. And some wild trades going on outside of Garage, but in the end it will be Weekend Warriors cleaning house. Off to an early 2-0 lead in the final map.
Yeah, sort of the downside of the shorties is they are not good on the rotate. You really just want to ambush people in those short range spaces. Ilu is able to get a bit more done, those jet movement abilities helping close the distance. But everyone else is sort of stuck with an incredibly short range weapon in a mid range fight. Doesn't work out. Now, heading into round 3, though, they're able to finally bring out the ARs. Azuliet's actually going to get straight on that Odin. And the attacker's going for a bit of a bonus round here. Weekend Warriors with the full Spectre loadout.
I like this, breaking out the big guns. What I want to see out of Enderpearl. None of these standard meta boring compositions. Just like a little focus up towards B again, perhaps expecting that Enderpearl doesn't want to play anyone directly on that site.
Well, B is usually one of the least defended places because it's so quick to rotate to. And without sort of an op there to hold down the super long angle, it can be really hard to hold on to. That said, we've got Jars pushed up very aggressively behind that wall. Could definitely catch some people off guard here once that comes down. They're not going to commit the plant. Okay, okay.
I was waiting to see what happened on A. Air got traded out. Was able to take one with him. There you go. The wall comes down. Fate is actually the one that gets the kills. The barrier goes up. Azuliet with the Odin providing plenty of cover. The wall goes down. The cyber cage not enough to keep that Sage alive. Half the defuse is done.
Oh
No, and Azuliet minimized, able to finish the job. Whoa, Enderpearl had that, but Weekend Warriors stuck it out and they walk away with another round win.
I'm really surprised that we didn't see the Odin provide the covering fire there. I mean, all you had to do was just spray and cover them. Like, the cage isn't going to prevent them from shooting the spike. They know exactly where the spike is. They planted it. But I think the moment you see what section of wall they're targeting, you just open up on that with the Odin, spray it down, force them to back off, and maybe you can get that stick through. In the end, they sort of throw that one away. It was such a good maneuver too. I'm left a little heartbroken here. And now we see Enderpearl again sort of in this weird half-buy situation. They've got a couple of power pistols on the table. Minimize is going to pick up Jars there as well. And Struct has a Stinger. So not really much in the way of weapons there. Weekend Warriors have got the full AR loadout here. So they continue to close in around this C point.
I've been looking for Ilu's blades to make an impact so far. It's done really well. Got around, an average of 1 kill per blade. There you go, the double kill, 2 right clicks in a row. Finishing off Funk and Blevin coming out of Garage. In the end though, Ilu's down, as is Azulia minimized with their 3rd kill, plus the resurrection onto Devour. It's going to see the C side locked down, the spike planted, now just Fate with a shorty. Everything in the world has to be done. Oh, the curveball is good though. We'll see Fate removed as Weekend Warriors tearing away. They want to get this championship over and done with.
Yeah, it looks like we will actually be having a pause being called in by Weekend Warriors. So maybe not so over and done with after all, but nonetheless, they've got an opportunity here. They've got the early momentum. We've seen this so many times. 4-0 off of that pistol round. Weekend Warriors looking so good here. But Enderpearl finally have the ops in hand. They're going to be going for the double op defense here. Both Ilu and Fate pulling those weapons out. The Zuliets also picked up the Odin. So there's definitely some big tools on the table here for the defense to try and change the momentum. They're actually stacking up on C as well. So this could be really nasty if we continue to see Weekend Warriors favoring the sort of C pushes that we have been. Okay, maybe not stacking so hard on C. We've got a few more back on B, but it's only going to be Cypher solo playing that A point. So that is a lot of opportunity for the defense to really consolidate and puncture through. And this is sort of what we saw. Sort of what we saw actually in the semi-final really be a problem for Weekend Warriors. So they've definitely doing a lot better now at dealing with it. Either that or Enderpearl just not as strong on the defense as the Weekend Warriors' previous opponent on this map. But nonetheless, they're holding these angles quite passively, waiting for Weekend Warriors to commit. Weekend Warriors do play a very slow, passive offense, clearing angles. They don't have a lot of initiation tools, so it's sort of understandable.
Ilu's got Garage locked down, but gets impatient. Fires up a shot, backs away ever so slightly. Nice barrier from Jarve, stopping the push that's coming up through mid. The spike is there. A couple of members of Weekend Warriors still out and about near A and C, respectively. Air looking to cause a distraction as Devour pushes through the smoke. The runner back going to keep the Phoenix alive for the moment as Ilu trapped on point B. Walls everywhere. Both the environment and those Sage barriers. Running a lot of cover, and it's going to see A wide open. Air takes down Azuliat. The Odin from heaven, not enough to keep the Cypher in the fight. Devour gets Fate on the rotation through B, and the kills are coming through. Ilu manages to find one, as does Struct. Now it's just the Omen left. The cover and the teleport just to get onto the site. Has an opportunity here. If they can pick off Minimize and then get the defuse started, Omai may not be there in time.
Omai is rotating really quickly, and
Oh dear. Struct.
It's so passive on that. Struct knew that they had to be there somewhere, didn't know how deep they were, really went hunting for it. The punishment was there. It's so nerve-wracking to be trying to clear a site for a retake alone, not knowing where they are, having an idea but not being able to see them. It's really stressful, and when it's someone like the Brimstone that you know you need to deal with, or he's just going to molly, like, I understand hunting for it. You can't leave Omai alone. We saw what happens when you do that back on Bind. So I understand needing to go for it, but in the end, it doesn't work out.
Oh, it's just not Struct. Day gets killed by Minimize at the start of the round to add insult to injury. Fate in the back with the Stinger. A little annoyance there. The Stinger living up to its name, but it's only a little sting as Devour finishes off the round onto Azulia. And Pyronius, the last time we saw a team go up 6-0 on the map, they were able to hold on.
Yeah. Yeah, this is really good for Weekend Warriors. Enderpearl, they need to upset the apple cart here. This is going to go into the next gun round here. This is going to be their opportunity to do it. Ilu's got an op as well. Just working out where they want to play that one, though. Because Ilu is not looking like heading towards C-Long with that. In fact, C-Long is looking maybe a little open there. Struct is going to rotate over. So we're going to have the op out middle. In fact, we've got 3 people playing at B, trying to really upset this momentum there. And Ilu will get the opening pick onto Devour here and now. And that's a big, crucial pickup as well, because that is their main initiator.
And a rotation from Ilu covering the garage entrance. Minimize. Have to be wary poking that door. There you go. A shot rings out. Not going to find the Sage, but forces a little bit of repositioning. Funk knows exactly where Ilu is, plugging through the door, but not going to find any value. And in the end, opts to rejoin their team, heading over towards that A site where again, it is just Azuliate solo holding on the Cypher.
Yeah, and it's not uncommon to see that when you've got the Cypher having them solo hold A there, because A is just such a difficult site in general. I mean, if you can get it, the retake is a nightmare. The
Oh, wow.
place.
Jars able to pick off air thanks to the spotting done by Zulier. The traps coming up trumps. Lose their Sage. In the meantime, taking the resurrection off the table, but struck with a 3k to finish up. That is Enderpearl's first round win on the board, and it was sorely needed.
Yeah, that is absolutely what they needed there to try and get this series back under control. Trouble is that Weekend Warriors have all of this early momentum. I mean, they basically, at this point, they need to pick up every round since then to be able to even up the half. And, I mean, it's an opportunity. Weekend Warriors do consider themselves better on the attack here than the defense. But, I mean, in their semi-final, that wasn't the way things went. Their attack was really not to plan, as they went 9-3 in that first half. Brought it back on the defense, so you definitely can't count them out on either end of this map. Enderpearl, they really need to start closing the gap here. Otherwise, it's going to go the same way as Bind.
Well, they run it back, providing lots of intel onto C, but it's not enough to save the lives of Oh My or minimize as they are gunned down on the entry, and the rest of the Warriors up around B. It's currently undefended, but then Ilu from the side doesn't even need to be on site to provide value, especially with that op in hand.
Yeah, the timing there just works out in Ilu's favor there. But it's not over yet. Devour picks up a kill on Destruct. It's now a 1v3. But
Ilu's low.
I mean, yeah, Ilu is low. Fate's taken a bit of damage as well. So it's not a guaranteed means by... not a guaranteed matchup by any means, but with the spike down and Azulia covering...
Devour! Oh, that was so smart. Was chasing down Ilu, suspected that the Jet would jump out of heaven and decided to take the A-Link rather than follow them up the stairs.
Yeah, the trouble is getting this spike back, and Azulia is there to make sure they can't. That is going to be the second round picked up by Enderpearl. So an opportunity now. They're starting to get some economic damage done. Weekend Warriors, they've still got money, though. They'll be able to buy into this round. They should be able to buy into the next one as well. It's going to take about 4 rounds to completely bankrupt them here. So still an uphill battle here for Enderpearl, but this is what they need. This is what they need to get themselves back into this one.
Well, Ilu's going to have to invest quite a lot to pick up that op again.
Defenders stacked up towards C now, so anticipating a C hit. But Weekend Warriors are continuing to favor this push up the middle here into B. See Devour getting very aggressive on this corner. Getting right up. Good spot
Yeah,
right out mid.
Classic barrier up B, but this time a lot of ammo invested to break it down. Jars still safe in the corner. Nice slow orb will prevent any kind of push for the moment. Devour spots the Sage crossing over, not able to capitalize on it. Cypher's jigging it out over near A just before the attackers spawn. It's going to see neural theft invested. A quick re-rotation. It looks like they're going for the resurrection.
Yeah, they're going to get
back in the fight.
And maybe commit onto A, but it looks like they're just going to get that res back off. They're relying on the fact that the res there will pull some defenders over to A. They're going to head straight back to B, which is
they
now...
didn't go near C. Sorry, Struct has been rotated around C long. It's going to come up behind the Warriors. They don't suspect a thing. Oh no, the spike down gets 2. Devour finishes off the Omen, but the damage is done. 20 seconds left on the clock. They have to go B. They have no other choice.
Yeah, they've got no other choice, but the defense is all here. They know where the hit's going to be. The wall just gets bumped down. Going to be the spike not planted there. No time left. They're going to step through, maybe try and go for the kills. Doesn't work out. That will be a victory for the defense, and all of those guns off the table as well. Enderpearl picks up their third round, 6-3. The scoreline still in favor of the Weekend Warriors, but momentum definitely favoring Enderpearl at the moment. Who, well, they're at the point of maybe being able to break the Weekend Warriors economy. One more round they need to win, and the Weekend Warriors are in dire economic straits. So maybe, just maybe, they are able to bring this one back to a 6-6 half.
Well, Struct coming up with the goods there, and Doctor Who fans would know that turning left may be the best course of action, but there, Weekend Warriors turned right, and it allowed Struct to get behind them. And now we're seeing Struct and Illu, a common pairing, actually. You see them roaming around the map a lot. They're both holding down C. Lots of utility invested as this time the Weekend Warriors choose to go up D long, but minimize taking damage, has to heal themselves just getting across away from Garage.
Yeah, a lot of really nice just spray through smoke damage there. Really close to losing their stage, which would have been a pretty big pickup there.
We can see Omai whipping out that little wrist pad, setting up some smokes, covering off the entry points. And they're going to make use of that cover by not going to see. Quick rotation away. I think the defender suspects something is up.
Yeah, we have a
rotating
lurker
back around
there.
the corner.
Azuliate not able to make it happen though. Gets caught out in the lurk by Devour. Now the rotation onto A. Struct just waiting for the confirmation that the hit's coming in. Now they've seen it coming through. He's going to get the scouting done from that one, but he's not going to be able
Oh,
to...
Charles in the corner! Got flashed and paranoid, but the Weekend Warriors didn't move fast enough to capitalize on it. Minimize able to finish off the stage, but 2 kills have gone through. Just the 1 player remaining. Enderpearl on a roll. 4 rounds to 6. They're back within 2.
Yeah, they're back within 2, and Weekend Warriors, they've now got the awkward position of, do they invest into this round or do they hold it for the last round of the half? Because if they invest now, which looks like they're not, no, they're going to go for it. They're going to force buy here, just sort of similar but in reverse to what we saw in the map 1. So they no, it's a split buy. No, they are going to go for a partial eco here. So it's not the full buy. They've got a couple of sheriffs on the field. They've got a bulldog, but it will give them enough money if they lose this round that they can come back in for the final round.
With the Odin.
They're pushing in.
Oh,
really
there you
good.
go. Azuliate melts down 2, had their work cut out for them, but able to get the job done. Jars coming into support, doesn't spot Funk sitting in hell. 1 sheriff shot's going to see a Vandal retrieved for the Omen. As the spike goes down, it's a 3v2 favoring the defense, but some big tools, including that orbital strike on board for Omai.
Yeah, and Omai has dropped back into short, as we've seen they like to do.
Oh, Funk, the 3rd of the round. They may not even need this ultimate. It's coming down regardless. As soon as he hears that noise, Fate will then have to back off. It's a 1v1, the Hunter's Fury. Oh, this is so smart. I mean, you've got it, you might as well use it. Going for the defuse again. Ah, the bait's not good enough for Oh My. This is a pro we're talking about here. Weekend Warriors go into the second half 7-4 in the lead.
Yeah, and I think Fate expected that Omai had dropped back further down the tunnel. Didn't expect that he'd run up and was quite so close around that corner. So in the end, not able to make it happen. He thought, I guess he thought that Omai might have been, given that he didn't get hit by it, was all, and maybe there'd be an opportunity to stick the defuse there. But Omai, of course, a lot closer than expected. Oh, Jars!
Sorry, my mistake. That wasn't the end of the half. This will be the end of the half. 2 quick kills going the way of the defense. Going to stymie the Warriors for the moment. Hovering around mid. But so far it's proven quite deadly.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great opening spray there. Taking down both Air and Devour. Some big tools out of play there. Means they're not going to... Well, probably at least not going... Or minimize down. They're definitely not going to have that neural theft available. Now it's just Funk and Omai against the full defense here. They're going to creep towards this A site. It's going to be really, really difficult to make it happen. They've got From the Shadows available, so Funk could use that to set up an angle, but...
Bit of damage traded on to the Omen. Able to take down Fate, though. Sees the spike get on, so Omai getting it planted. Doesn't have an orbital strike. At the ready, Giles will finish off Funk, leaving just the Brimstone left. 1v4. Here, the operator booming out. Oh my, trapped in a corner. Gets one, but in the end, Jars sealing the deal. That will see Enderpearl pick up a late win in the half, a round win in the half, and go into the second half only 2 rounds behind. This is certainly doable for them.
Yeah, definitely. What a great comeback there from Enderpearl after 6-0 lead for Weekend Warriors. They're able to pick up 5 of the next 6 as well. We will have another pause coming in. Once again, the members of Weekend Warriors looking to take a break. Could be that could be a biological need, or it could be a tactical planning meeting. We don't know, but they'll definitely be looking to get their wits about them as they come into this defensive half. This is where it all comes down to, and as I sort of said before, they don't feel super confident about their defense on this map, even if they did really did rely on it last week to get themselves through to this semi-final. They really feel like their defense here is not their strong point on this map. So an opportunity here for Enderpearl. Again, it all comes down to this pistol round. Enderpearl are able to pick up the pistol round there. They're able to take that momentum through. They even up the scoreline. And then we really get into dicey territory here. So this could still go either way. This is so close between these two teams. And a lot of pressure on all of these players who've now been playing for a good 2 hours, almost 2.5 hours now. It's got to start to wear you down as well.
Yeah, a true test of a champion is not only getting the wins week in, week out, but being able to go the distance when it matters and prevailing over your opponents in the mental game as well as the mechanical game. And it's nice to see. I particularly liked Azuliate near the end of that half. Kept picking up the Odin, and you commented on it that there was that one round where they had the Odin covering a defuse and just didn't use it to cover, I believe it was Fate. No, it was Jars diffusing. But then in the, I mean, you saw in that the second to last round, the Odin came alive, was plugging away at anything that Weekend Warriors are throwing at them. So I'm looking at players like Azuliate. Won't have to hot solo hold a site anymore, but perhaps on the recontest, once they got the spike planted, that Cypher can provide so much utility, and there'll be a real benefit to their team if they're able to keep up this quality of play we've seen from them so far.
Absolutely. The round now getting underway. And it looks like they will be going for a hit towards A, but Azuliate's going to pick up that orb at C. So they're going for the double orbs here. They want to get every advantage they possibly can coming into this one. And why wouldn't you? Azuliate looking to lurk around in mid. Rest of the team stacking up in A long. The defense still waiting to see where the hit's coming in on.
Spy Cam getting plenty of vision to that Cypher. Seeing a little rotation. There you go. Some dark cover going out across the map from Funk. Not really blocking any vision. There you go, the counter dark cover. Oh my. Walks through onto B. Perhaps they suspect, given all the utility being invested, that that's where the hit is going. And it's just a lonely little Cypher, really.
Yeah, but he's there to provide the footsteps as well. So that will help make this more convincing. Now more utility being thrown down onto the B-bomb site. Now Azuliate pushing through as well. Here comes the actual hit onto A.
Oh, and they get away with their life, but you're seeing the rotations now coming through quickly. Struct getting the spike down. They got so much position advantage here. And Azuliate, there you go, the lurking paying off. Takes down Funk on the rotation out of B. Minimize. He's looking for that Cypher. They know where he's hiding. He's low. Sage will finish him off. But they wasted a whole lot of time. Although, as I say, that Minimize coming up, A may get a fall afoul of Jars. The classic traded out for the Ghost. Devour pokes out of heaven. Illu knows exactly where the Phoenix is. A nice molly. It's going to clear some of the attackers. Force them to remove, but Illu, that's okay. Movement is fine for a Jet. Picks up the double kill. It's just air left. 11 health, not going to be getting this. Takes out Jars. But that's it. Everyone has to run away from that spike. Illu, just avoids the explosion.
Jars getting aggro with the knife there. It doesn't work out, but the damage is done. No chance to push through onto that. And they knew that that last player was low, but again, just not able to close the distance, get the knife in them. But it's a nice little bit of insult to injury there from the members of Enderpearl, especially at this point with how long and how close this matchup has been. Anything that you can do to tilt your opponent is that little extra bit of advantage. If you can get your opponent angry enough that their comms start to be affected by it, that they start, or absolute best case scenario, they actually start snapping at each other, it's going to be a much smoother sailing there. But even just tilting players enough to the point they're talking about it in comms instead of concentrating on the game is an absolute advantage. Now we see the hit. They've taken over the B site. It's a great skill from the Zuliate there.
The R is churning through the defending team as they try and re-engage. Omai picks up one. The classic doing what it can, but in the end, Struct picking up his second. Going to put pay to that. And again, we're left with just the Cypher left. Air holding outside, looking for a lucky pick. But it will be Struct cleaning things up as Enderpearl draw level.
Yeah, and speaking of level, we're seeing it again from Enderpearl that their kills are really spread out throughout the team. Jar's actually topping the leaderboard with 12-12, and then Ilu, Azuliat, and Struct all sitting on 11 behind it. Fate not that much further back on 7. So they're really keeping it nice and spread out across the team, keeping the growth on those ultimates nice and even.
Eyes on target.
Meanwhile, over on Weekend Warriors, Omai is not having the same sort of game he was having back on Bind. Like, the Brimstone was the top fragger on Bind, now sitting at the bottom down there at 6 and 7. And it's really been all the difference on these two matchups as we're at 7-7. Scoreline has evened up here. Enderpearl with the initiative.
They get onto C. No kills straighted just yet, though. Minimize picks up Struct as the spike is planted. Lots of utility invested just to get it down. And we'll see what the Warriors have for the re-engage, so they've got to wait for their reinforcements to come through.
Yeah, a lot of people looking to rotate through the garage here. And there's going to be one coming up C long as well. Minimize picks up blue. This is looking pretty good, but
so Zuliate was ready. The trap wire was enough to give away the position of Funk, but Omai's there with the follow-up, as is Devour. Jar's gone, Fate gone. The defuse is good. Weekend Warriors back on top in a round that they were hard-pressed to win coming into it.
Yeah, I mean, they did have a slight advantage in the guns because a lot of the members of Enderpearl couldn't go for the full buy. There was a couple of unorthodox ones in there, such as the Bulldog. We're going to see the Bulldog coming out again from Jars as well. And Minimize having that op really does give them a really strong position to anchor around there, especially when it's like coming up C long. Ilu's going to be able to get the op of their own now. And that's generally speaking not an op duel that Minimize wants to be taking here. Although they have caught Ilu off guard with the wall before, and investing the wall early here could be an opportunity to do so again. Looks like the hit, however, is going towards A long instead.
Similar to that push in the pist around Azuliate. Hovering around B just to cause a distraction. See if Weekend Warriors fall for it this time.
Well, it did work very well last time. Looks like we might be seeing something similar. Jars has currently got the Slorb out aimed at the sky. Might be looking to throw that probably onto the back of A. Sky Smoke's coming down as well.
And again, a lot of utility invested by Enderpearl onto B, giving the illusion that that's where the attack is coming from. But this time, Warriors wary. They're still keeping 2 to 3 players over near the A side. Funk picks up Fate on the entry. They come out, Sue isn't there. The spike is there being planted. Struct doing the needful job, but a couple of plays in heaven.
You will
make
not kill my ally.
this approach a little easier for the Weekend Warriors. Minimize onto the point. Struct gone. The dark cover still stymieing those two up on the top. Devour and Omai jump down. They find Ilu, but the cloud cover enough to keep The Jet alive. Jars gets 2 with the Bulldog. With Funk returning to the fight, plus those 2 kills coming through for the defense. Fate, as his work cut out for him, gets 1. But there's 3 players now hunting him down. We'll get minimized in the end. Devour picking up the kill. The defuse just will get there in time. That's 2 on the trot, so 2-2 in this half so far.
Yeah, 2-2 in the half. These rounds have been very close. A lot of casualties on both sides. So neither team is building up a huge economic advantage here. Team that's winning the round, I mean, the mounting loss bonus for the defenders combined with the amount of guns they're having to rebuy every round means that there is an opportunity to maybe unseat them. That said, members of Enderpearl here, they're going to go for a bit of a half buy here. They're not investing fully onto this round. They're going to try and maybe take advantage of a weakened Weekend Warriors roster here with a half buy. And if not, maybe we have another round where they inflict a lot of damage and
Speaking
are
of
able
damage,
to get the better buy there. Yeah, Struct going down early to that ult, not great. Ilu going down is even worse news here for Enderpearl.
Right here.
got the spike in on B. See if they decide to even plant it here, or hoping for another opening, but with Minimize taking down Jars, that's going to put Paid any chance of rotating to another point. Fate just has to get the spike down. The RS from Azulia is good enough to take down Funk, but now Cypher is the only player left, and Warriors know exactly where he's hiding.
Yeah, the fact that they didn't get the spike down there is a bit of a blow as well. They could have used that extra money, but they're going to be able to come into this one with the rifles. Unfortunately, they didn't quite get as much damage done as they would have liked to prevent all rifles coming in from the defense here either. So Weekend Warriors still in a strong position here. Minimize has still got that up, and they don't have the ability to bring one out to match it. In fact, Ilu doesn't have the money to get a rifle at all. They're just going to be relying on the Blade Storm in this round to try and get them a weapon early on.
Well, it's worked out so far for the Jet, proving quite deadly. Actually, is that a Vandal sitting in the corner? Oh, it was a Phantom sitting in the corner. So they had a gun ready.
Yeah, I thought they all had them, but just hiding that from us here.
Just the one blade left. Knowing Ilu, it could just be one blade which wins them this round. Just get the kill, rinse and repeat. Spike going down Jars, so the Incendiary forces repositioning. Oh my, following up. Good kill on to the Sage. Neural Theft. Highlighting where the defenders are coming from, and just Minimize left. Sees Enderpearl in a position to slow the momentum of Weekend Warriors. Keep themselves in this map.
Yeah, really nice flank play from Struck there with the From the Shadows, jumping over behind and re-engaging from an unexpected angle. Gets one, gets some damage on the second one, and then is traded out as well. Now Minimize just looking to save this op. Don't have the money to buy a new op if they go down here. But we're not seeing the most aggressive hunt here. Well, Azulia has found Minimize. But I think, given Azulia's health, probably not looking to push that. No, okay, they're grouping up. They're gonna go for a hunt together. Try and take this op away from Minimize. Oh,
Azulia paying for it with their life. Here we go. The duel on the point. Minimize gets Ilu as well.
Oh, that's huge.
At least they got something out of that round.
They sure did. Picking up those 2 kills. Not only does it give them the money that they kind of need because they're not in a great spot money-wise, but it also denies those rifles for the members of Enderpearl, which means their economy is going to bleed out that little bit faster now. So some really big pickups there. I mean, it was sort of a 50-50 whether you even go for Minimize there. Given the precarious position, they went for it. They took the gamble, did not pay off, and that may come back to bite them. Nonetheless, they are still needing to make up the difference here. 8-10 the scoreline in favor of the Weekend Warriors.
Lots of effort concentrated on Garage for the moment. but none of the Warriors actually in there.
Cover going out.
Just hovering around the back. Cover invested on B just to draw some fire, and it's a very split push from Enderpearl right now. 2 players near garage, the rest over in the A sewers.
Yeah, it's an interesting play because I mean, look at where their Cypher Azulia has managed to get all the way up through, and that is going to cause a rotation towards garage here. No, they're gonna. Okay, well, it was, and it did, but now they've seen that the hit's coming down on A. They're going to be able to respond to that really quickly. And
Minimizer want to be careful. Ilu's waiting in heaven.
Oh,
The Sage backs off. So Ilu not going to get the kill there, but it forces some repositioning. Now the defenders all sitting down in that link from their spawn. Barrier burnt down, but they're going to have to keep pushing through either the barrier or the cloud burst. The orbital strike coming down. Not cutting everyone off, and Jars picking up 3 headshots to seal out the round. Enderpearl move within 1 round of the Warriors.
yeah, they're looking to tie it up. They haven't ever quite managed to. No, I tell a lie. There was 7-7 at one point, so they have managed to tie it up before. But Weekend Warriors got back in front here. The important thing is that they've finally broken the economy of the Weekend Warriors, who are basically going to be forced to come into this one with the power pistols. They've got the sheriffs, a couple of players picking up armor as well. But in theory, on paper, this should be a round for Enderpearl. That said, we've seen Weekend Warriors pick up these power pistol rounds before, so we can't count them out here again.
Well, this is interesting. The defense goes very aggressively, pushing B and garage, but Enderpearl just goes straight for A. Azuliate caught out. Finally, that lurking Cypher is made to pay. Now we're seeing, now the spike is planted. Enderpearl's going on the approach themselves. Funk and Jars trade out for each other. Numbers still with the defense. With the pistols, they're going to be hard. Well, I say they're going to be hard pressed. Minimize gets in there, brings Devour back into the fight. Oh my, has picked up an Odin. Zuliate, you've given up the biggest tool you could. Struck down in hell.
They've done
Picks
it.
up air, but there you go. The aggression pays off. Enderpearl thought they had that. A was wide open, but they didn't expect the fast power pistol push.
Yeah, which is a bit interesting because it's not the first time we've seen the fast power pistol push out of this Weekend Warriors side either. They absolutely pulled that out when they had to eco on their bind defense. So you got to expect them to go for this play. It's the only time that they play aggressively is when they're on those power pistol rounds. But the sudden change of pace, I mean, it happens so rarely, I guess, that you absolutely don't expect it coming through. And so once again, it works out for them here.
And it might be those...
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, it might be those 2 kills they freely gave over to Minimize coming back to haunt them before, because the Resurrection was available in that round, and it wouldn't have been otherwise.
True, that is true. And, I mean, I think maybe they had that one on lock even without the Resurrection coming through, but it is another extra little bit in there. Getting the res, finishing with the extra player left alive, means one more rifle to take into the next round, means a little better in the economy. It's now 11-9 in favor of the Weekend Warriors here. And once again, we're seeing the pace of the offense slowed down. Defense, they're working forwards. They've worked all the way up A long here now. So they're slowly closing the net around these players. They know the hit's not coming onto A. A lot of utility now coming out, but there's still no commitment to a site here from the attack. Looks like they're inching towards C.
Right here.
Garage with the play. No cars in here though. I'm not really sure what kind of vehicle you'd be storing in the garage. But anyway, C is the go. As you said, Minimize, looking over the wall. Everyone's head is just below, so no vision gained for the Sage. The spike is planted.
Impossible.
Still no one falls, but the Jars is the first, followed immediately by Fate. Ilu gets one back onto Devour. All this fighting going down on C. As Azuliate prevents air from making their way in. Minimize still here, picks up a Vandal. Not wanting to take the short range op battle, but struck in Ilu, proving far too much. Funk is on the point. Oh, what a reposition. Oh, so he didn't use the repositioning. Gets in there, though. A little opportunity now. Needs to take the 1v2, but it could be done. They're getting stuck and spotted. May make things more
He's
difficult.
got time.
Yeah. Just looking for the kill, but it will be the classic to finish things off from Azuliate. At least, you know what? Funk took Azuliate out with the spike there.
Yeah, I mean, Azuliet knew at that point he was not getting off the site, so why not go for the BM? But still, good round, well played there. Great play from Funk, surprising them up C long, but isn't able to pick up Ilu as well. I think if he'd just kept spraying, if he'd known that Ilu was in that smoke as well, picked up 2, then maybe he would have had the time to get that defuse through. So now we're back to only 1 round difference between these two teams. Enderpearl still chasing the Weekend Warriors lead here.
Struck with a surprise up. It was handed over. He uses the teleport to get into position to spoil Funk's surprise.
That's what they need as well. That'll allow them. It'll allow Jars to grab that weapon upgrade. Except it doesn't look like Jars is going to grab that weapon upgrade. Okay.
No,
They are dragging these weapons around through it. Yeah, Ilu will take the op back. Surprised they didn't upgrade the Bulldog, but there you have it. And looks like the hit is going to be Garage to C, but Minimize is there to slow things down.
Oh, Fate with the follow-up. That is nice teamwork from Enderpearl. They've got a distinct numbers advantage. C is wiped clear of defenders as the spike comes down.
Yeah, and the remaining defenders on a 4v2, they're just going to back off here. They got to save these rifles. The economy is once again in ruins. So they need as many weapons as they can into this next round because, I mean, we're going to be at 11-11. Things are getting dangerously close here. You can't afford to just throw away weapons for free, feed your opponent's economy at the same time when things are this tight.
We are in the end game now. Both teams 2-round wins away from taking out the championships and being declared Valor Cup champions. And I mean, at the start of the day, we talked about it, Peronius stats saying these teams are so close. And they're showing off on this third map. Even though the first 2 maps kind of went the same way that the semi-final went last week, a bit back and forth between the teams, the third map has really turned up the heat.
Yeah, definitely. Both of these teams really going the distance here. It's 11-11 is the scoreline. But Weekend Warriors are on a weak bye this round. They don't have armor on all of their players. They don't have rifles on all of their players. Okay, they will be getting rifles on all of their players, but they've had to make the compromise there. A couple of players on half armor. Funk using a Bulldog, so it's not the buy they'd want. Ilu still has an op, and there is no op to match it out.
I know exactly where you
Oh, Zuliate with the follow-up as Devour came back off the runner back. That is such good play from the Cypher. The spike going to be down on C yet again. This time, plenty of defenders remaining as Funk puts the fear of God into the opposing team. Oh, Zelu! Watch out behind you, mate. The minimize there in support. It looks like the paranoia sweeping through is going to catch out Jars. Ilu knows there's a player there, but in the end, Funk's going to finish off those 2. Fate, though, down C long takes care of business. Moving 2 from the fight. Oh my, on the point. Not going to be long for this world to minimize. They make the what? They've taken 2. And the barrier. Oh no, Azulia has to run all the way around. Minimize going to know where the Cypher is coming from. Can the defuse come through?
Oh, no!
Oh, it's not! No! Oh my word! Enderpearl move onto championship point by about half a second.
Less 0.26 left in there. That is such a small fraction. Quarter of a second, all the difference there. And all because they just had to get off the spike that little bit earlier because they picked up the pistol. They went for the wraparound. Pistol gives a slightly quicker run speed, you get them slightly faster. As a result, you're able to force them off the spike. They have to go get off there to kill you. just so very close. We've had another pause come through from these teams because this is at the absolute brink. Enderpearl, as you say, championship point. They only need one more to do this one. Weekend Warriors, not only are they buckling from that, but they have the weaker economy. They don't have everything they'd want from it. Minimize has been able to pick up an op, but look at the sacrifices they're having to make there as a result. They don't have any armor on air. They have a bulldog once again on Funk, and Devour is forcing to play with a judge. So it is not the sort of rifles they want for the decisive round. They need to make something big happen with it, and it's going to be rough on them. They do not have the better loadout here. Enderpearl, they've got a lot of momentum behind them. They've been playing this attack really well. They have run 5 out of the last 6 rounds. So a lot of pressure here. A lot of pressure here onto the members of Weekend Warriors to clutch this one up. They can't afford to give this one up for free. Can't afford to give this one up at all, in fact. And it's going to require some inventive play from them. They do have the res online from Minimize, but that's the only tool they've currently got online. They're very close to a couple of other ultimates, though.
Well, there'll be no point in holding on to any tricks they've got left in their backpacks, because you lose this round, you're out, you're done. The unbeaten run is over. I mean, they've already had their unbeaten map runs snapped. It's their first map loss of the tournament was that last map, on a sense. And we're seeing a very cautious defense. This time, absolutely no aggression.
Yeah, they can't afford to give an opening here. If they give an opening, they know that Enderpearl are going to absolutely take it and run with it. Enderpearl moving around to stack up towards A. That could be a powerful play here because while there is a tripwire down there on A, the Cypher himself is not playing there. The fact that they're going through a tripwire means that they might be expecting the Cypher to be there, though.
Oh, they know what's happening. Funk gets hit by the paranoia. The blade from Ilu right to the head's going to take care of the Omen. Take a fair amount of damage for it. It's going to be a supporting Sage with the heals if required. There's a nice rotation around the back. We're seeing Devour and Air might just get the drop off bait. No! The Sova's ready! Oh no, Air's down. This could be it. Enderpearl 5v2 just minimized. And oh my left, the Resurrection brings Funk back into the fight, but they're trapped in a corner. Minimize gets struck with the oh my, taking out Jazz. Weekend Warriors could be back in with this. The orbital strike coming down, but the Hunter's Fury sweeps up 2. One of them is Ilu, but it's going to take care of Oh my in the middle of the plant. Funk is down. That is Enderpearl, your Valor Cup champions.
What an incredible comeback here from Enderpearl. Absolutely upsetting at the 11th hour. This series was, for the most part, under Weekend Warriors' control. Everything was going in their playbook. And remember, these teams have fought before on this map, and it was overwhelmingly Weekend Warriors coming out with the lead. But Enderpearl, they've buckled down. They've fixed the shortcomings that gave that one up. And in the end, they come from behind to edge through and take it out in a close 13-11 victory. What a great performance here from Enderpearl.
Oh my word, and where to start talking about this team? Well, I know exactly where to start. You start with Ilu, the MVP, the first 2 maps. Had a bit of a rough haven, but my goodness, over the course of not only this match, but the entire tournament, Ilu was absolutely electric.
Yeah, Ilu has long been the star player for this Enderpearl roster, but it's good to see the rest of the members really picking it up because, as we've said a number of times, they do frag fairly evenly. They trade out well, they get the kills spread across the team, and that's exactly what happens here. All of them putting in a great performance. I mean, the lowest fragging on the team for this final map is 16. And Ilu and Struck are both sitting on that 16 line there with everyone else above that. So they're putting up great numbers as a team. And that is what makes the difference there in the end. The fact that, sure, if you take out Ilu, you have taken out one big threat, but there are still 4 other threats to deal with, and they can all put up the numbers.
Yep, And if you look at the team as a whole for a minute, you saw it last week and you saw the same thing this week. When they tried to change up their composition, go to something a little different, maybe throw a curveball at their opponent, it didn't quite work out for them. But once they got back on their comfort agents, the same lineup that gets the job done for them time and time again, they just win the maps.
Yeah, I mean, there's such a clutch team. They really had their work cut out from them here. They're going up against an undefeated team that's beaten them already. They got, their opponent has the advantage of picking the first map, and as a result of that, Weekend Warriors were setting the pace the entire series. And it really was Enderpearl playing catch up first, picking up a map that after Weekend Warriors pick up a map, and then throughout all of Haven, it was Enderpearl catching up to Weekend Warriors' scoreline. Enderpearl closing the distance to Weekend Warriors. It's only in those last couple of rounds that they're able to edge out in front. But in the end, that's all that matters. Just that final burst of speed right before the finish line is all that matters if you are the one that crosses the finish line first. So what a great performance here from the team. Hats off to their mental, hats off to their in-game leader, because they've done a great job of just keeping everyone focused and under control so that they can get that from behind victory.
All right, and would you be willing to nominate perhaps a player of the series?
Well, I think based on that, surely we have to give the player of the series to Ilu for their consistent performance. I mean, this is the player that when the chips are down, they put it back, put everything on their shoulders. There really can't be anyone else who really stands out like that. I mean, on the map that they lost, Ilu was still the map MVP, as you said. They were the top fragger so often. And the fact that they slowed down a little on Haven did not matter because they still were putting in a great performance.
Indeed, and I would like to give a shout out to Azulier as a close runner for that MVP. Breaking out the LMG on all three maps, you are a bloody legend.
Definitely not what you expect to see here, and sometimes that's all you need to upset your opponent. We'd like to also give a big thank you to the rest of the teams competing in this tournament, and of course to all of the tournament organizers from AOE putting on this great show. And of course, we have to give a thank you to our sponsor, My Republic Gamer, as well, for their ongoing support of AOE that has allowed us to bring you this tournament here. Big congratulations to all of those that made their way through to the finals and for putting on a great show for us and really showing that AOE and OCE rather can have a solid go at the Valorant esports scene.
Well, if you think you can also be a champion, don't forget to join us on Sunday night for our AOE Valorant Pugs. But Peronius, that is it from us here at the Valor Cup, and it's seen Enderpearl crowned as the reigning Oceanic Valorant champions.
Absolutely.
Would you kindly take us out?
Absolutely. So again, thank you all for coming along. There's no doubt going to be more Valorant tournaments in the future, so be sure to keep an eye on those AOE socials and in the Discord for that. Until then, take care everyone, stay safe, and we'll see you all real soon.